And we back with another session, and I don't have my dice out, and I'm ill prepared because this is who I am as a person. Um, but um, there we go. So we'll just jump right into where we left off last time. So last time, you all party.
Are we streaming?
Yes, I already started it.
Oh shit.
This is why I've been talking in a very different way than what I
Yo,
was 30
I
seconds ago.
did not see the con on Twitch, so I was fucking ill prepared.
Like I'm ill prepared. Wow, there seems to be a trend tonight. Um, as I was saying, last time that you guys, the last session we had, you guys had finished your trek down south to the city of Drygen. Along the way, meeting an odd tiefling fellow by the name of Lucian, who offered to have a little competition with Journey, little musical competition, which she then declined, leaving him a little disappointed as he continued his way north, and then you guys continuing your trek south into the city of Drygen.
Fuck yo, devil went down to Georgia. Bullshit.
And in Drygen, you managed to slip into the walls surrounding about two-thirds of the city, where you entered the uh, I think it was Full Moonshine Tavern was the name. Let me double check my notes. Stop doing D&D sessions. Oh God, I just got distracted by the chat. God damn it. You guys, yeah, Full Moonshine Tavern, where you were introduced to the bartender Kai, uh, a Lupin fellow who was very vigilant on everything going on in the bar, and his companion Sylvia, who was playing the piano and who had told you about the ghost town that there's been several disappearances at, as well as potential treasure. Um, and they told you if you found anything in particular, if you went to that town, to let them know, and they may pay you some sum of money depending on what you find. Um, and you guys then spent the night, uh, Magnus wandering the streets as the sun had set and night had fallen, waiting for the rest of the party to complete their long rest within the tavern before meeting up outside the gates, collecting your cart and everything else, and preparing to get on the road. So, as you guys begin your trek, you guys had, I want to say you guys collected food and water for the trip, right? That was what we did right at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. So you all gather your thing. You're gathered on your cart, moving to the edge of town now. Um, the only thing you know as of right this moment is the way to go is to the west. Um, and Trinket is in the front, navigating the cart. Is anyone sitting with her, or are you
Sure.
guys in the back?
I'll sit up with her.
Okay. So you two are sitting in the front. Um, so for this trip, based on what you had been told to, it's going to take you roughly about 4 days worth of travel to get to this town. And that is going to also include you will have to water the horses, feed them along the ways, things of that nature. So I'm going to do a thing that I've learned from other things. I'm going to have you guys select a skill that you want to use to go through this journey, considering you are going through a dangerous environment. And depending on your checks depends on how long, if it does take 4 days, if you run into trouble, things of that nature, if that makes sense.
Can I use athletics?
You can certainly try if you would like. Depending on the skill that you pick too as well. will depend on how difficult of a DC, or yeah, DC it is.
I'll just do survival.
Okay. So we're gonna do. You need 4 successes to get through this. Is what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Just as an introduction. Um, and if you guys have any kind of conversations you wish to have along the way or things of that nature, which this party doesn't seem all that talkative, um, you guys are free to just kind of interrupt me whenever you decide you want to do something like that. But what did you roll for that survival check right off the bat?
21.
21. Okay. You with that roll, since you have been in the desert before, considering after the incident you had before you had made your way up to Morian Bay, you did a little bit of time within the desert, trying to learn to navigate it, survive it, stuff like that. You find no problem navigating through this desert now, kind of using the sun as a directional pointer to where you need to go. The first day ends up going by rather quickly, smoothly. Nothing really happens. And you guys enter the.
Yeah, just quick question. The symbol in my hand is an eye, right?
Yes.
Just making sure.
Okay. You go through your first day. You make camp that night. Nothing happens during that time. For the second day, does anyone else want to try to make a check? Because I kind of want everyone to try to, if possible. There's only 3 of you, so I'd kind of like each of
I'll
you to
try
make 1 check.
survival. Sure.
Okay, so and another thing to note with this, because this is I'm introducing this as I'm going.
4.
Each time you do the same check back to back, the DC for it gets higher. So
yeah, I got a 4.
You got a 4? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
It almost landed on something good, and then it didn't.
So you take the reins. You had offered during this point to take the reins from Trinket, who happily accepts, kind of sitting back, taking the time to relax a little bit. And you quickly discover you don't know how to navigate in any kind of way.
That's about right.
Can I give advantage with navigator's tools?
For this one, you help her get back on course a little bit, but it's rough, and you kind of lose a little bit of time doing this because of the little bit of getting lost. And at one, I'm gonna have everyone real quick roll me a perception check.
Okay.
21.
This man is rolling the same number over and over again.
14.
14. Okay.
Also using something that has the same mod.
Yes. Okay. You guys are, as a quiet party, you guys ride in silence for about a good portion of the day. Though around the point you finally kind of get back on course a little bit, you notice some distance away, Magnus, you notice a figure kind of standing near the top of a dune, not about probably about 300-400 feet from you guys. The little bit of heat rising off the sand is kind of causing a bit of a mirage that's making it hard to decipher what kind of individual this is. And as you approach a little closer, another individual appears next to them. A taller figure appears next to them, and they kind of shift along this dune, moving into a position to intercept you along your current path.
Magnus just looks up and just says, "Company," and he just like hops off the wagon and starts walking next to it, taking out his axe.
Okay. Trinket, who hears you say this, kind of sits up, readying her bow. Belrock kind of sits there in the back, just kind of daydreaming, not really listening to you. And Dusk, also who has been kind of singing to herself in the back, kind of goes quiet and begins looking around. As you guys approach, you get a little closer. You get about 100 feet away. They get directly in front of the cart by this point. You notice it is a man, looks to be a Fearbulk, wrapped head to toe. You can kind of see his face. It's not too visible, but he is standing there, and beside him is a gnoll who seems to be growling and clutching a spear in one hand. As you guys get within another probably 80 feet of him, he whistles, and moments after he whistles, a giant hyena comes bounding over the dune side and stops beside him. And they're just waiting.
Magnus just goes up in front of the horses and just says, "Who wishes to die first?"
The Fearbulk steps forward a little bit. And he calls out to you. He just says, "Turn back before things have to get ugly." And he doesn't appear to be armed in any way. He has no visible weapons on him, but he also has a very large cloak that covers most of his body as well. So you don't know if he has any weapons hidden underneath this cloak.
Magnus just stares at him for a second and just says, "We wish you no harm. If you stay in our way, your corpses will serve annoying bumps in our wheels."
He looks between his friends and looks at you and says, "This is our land. We don't want you here. Go back to where you were from."
He just stands there, "I dislike how you treat simple travelers." And he just holds his hands out to either side and just, "Come if you wish." And I'm gonna activate rage now. So just when he holds his arms out, he just drops his axe to the ground, and you just see his like the claws grow from his hands.
Can I do an intimidate check? Once you finish describing this, I guess.
If you want to say something, you could. I would say Magnus would roll an intimidation, and you would assist him if you were saying something.
Yeah, probably say something about how the big guy here, I've seen him eat the hearts of his enemies.
Okay.
Kind of just like, hyping him up.
I mean, due to my modifier, that is a 16, so not that bad. Fucking -1 charisma mod.
He seems to raise an eyebrow in your direction, kind of shift a little bit on his feet. But a moment later, you see his hand kind of slip out from his cloak and start spinning something. And he's just standing there.
Oh, I'm just gonna fucking he did not move out of the way. He did not do what was so nicely stated to him twice. The third time's not a warning. The third time's evisceration. I'm going straight for his ass.
All right, roll initiative. Everyone.
Magnus doesn't do threats. It's called promises.
Let me grab my piece of paper.
19.
If I can grab the right piece of paper. I have so many pieces of paper just all over the place. All right, so you had a 19. What about you? Journey.
Want me to roll intimidation? Okay.
No, roll initiative.
Oh, initiative. Sorry.
Yeah, combat has begun.
There it is. Initiative button. I rolled a 15.
15. Gotcha. All right. So Trinket is at the top of your guys' order. I'm not going to tell you what the enemy's orders are compared to yours. Magnus is second in line for you guys. What'd you say your number was again?
I'm 15.
15. So Journey is after Magnus. So it's Trinket, Magnus, Journey. Bellrock is third. And Dusk is last. Okay. So as you charge this individual, he with his other hand places out towards you. He mutters a few arcane words before I need you to roll a con save real quick. With disadvantage.
Magnus?
Magnus does.
Okay.
14.
All right, Magnus, you lose
Wait.
your...
Nope, 16. 16,
16?
actually. Sorry.
Modifier.
Yeah,
Okay.
modifiers.
Well, you take a beam of moonlit energy slams down onto you, and I gotta double check. Make it throw fail instantly. Okay. You take these are the wrong dice. These are not the dice I need. Where are my D10s? You take 11 points of radiant damage as you charge this individual.
All right.
And I don't think he has any bonus actions, so that is the end of his turn. Oh, scratch that. He takes right after he does that, he grabs a hold of a rock from a pocket of his, and he whispers something into the rock, and the rock begins to glow slightly. Next is Trinket, who from her position is going to try to launch a arrow at him. Her first shot misses, and the second shot hits. And she hits for... The hell did Trinket not get opened on my desktop? There we go. I had it open, and then it wasn't open. She hits him for 8 points of piercing damage. And now it is your turn, Magnus. And you are approximately, at this moment, you're probably 40 feet from him. Considering you started the charge, everyone else is about 60. So you got 20 feet in before initiative started.
All right. Shit. Okay. Damn it. Because I already stated I have the claws and I can't get within.
You took damage, so you still have the rage out.
Yeah, no, it's the problem is I can't get
Close enough to hit.
Yeah, I can't get within melee range. Hold the fuck up. Hold the. I can get in within melee range if, with a bonus action, I take a long jump.
Yeah, if that's something you're able to do.
Basically, I mean, yeah, I can get to him with a long jump. The difference is I don't know. I don't remember the specifics on the action economy for jumping in combat.
I think jumping is a part of your movement. Unless you have an ability for it. I think it is specifically... I think it takes up a portion of your movement to do it. If you don't have something that allows you to do it that says bonus action type deal, then I don't think you can go further than your movement speed.
Yeah, I'm trying, because I also need to check the rule set on if there is any action economy stuff put to rolling athletics to... No, that's only for that level. So now I just need to... I'm just trying to double... Now I'm just trying to make sure. Player's handbook, why are you being such a bastard? because I'm looking in the wrong place, of course. Fuck it. If you're saying it's a part of movement, then I can totally get to him by just fucking pouncing at him. So, let's see here. Because, I mean, I'd actually be able to fucking attack him.
I would say roll an athletics check doing it to see if you actually can make the jump.
Alright. $26.
That's good enough. Yeah, the sand doesn't cause you any issues. You lunge at this individual. I'm assuming you do 2 attacks is what you have going on. I think you.
Yeah.
No, you. Wait. Do you have 2 attacks or is it only the 1 right now?
It's the feature of my rage right now. I get an extra attack.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's see here. 18 to hit.
That just hits.
So that's a 9 slashing damage.
Okay. So you slash this man across the chest, and he lets out a little bit of a grunt, stumbling a little bit as his blood hits the sand at his feet.
Ooh, baby, that's a crit.
All right, roll your damage.
Uh, 13. Well, actually,
You double the dice and then just add the.
Oh yeah,
modifier,
double the
whatever.
dice. Okay, so let me grab an extra D8. $19 slashing damage.
All right. Your first one kind of makes him stagger a little bit. The second one just kind of knocks him backwards. A significant amount of blood dripping into the cloak on his chest. He looks up at you angrily as the gnoll beside him, who seems to be a protector of sorts, rushes forward using a spear in your direction, and he is going to attempt to spear you. And we're gonna roll. What's your AC?
17.
17. He manages to dig the spear into your ribs, inflicting 7 points of piercing damage. And as he does this, Journey, it is now your turn.
Ooh. So I want to use Dissonant Whispers.
What is the range on that?
It is 60 feet.
You are just in range.
Yep.
That's
Hey,
No
amazing.
point in moving.
If you have anything that causes disadvantage on attacking a target or disadvantage on attack rolls in general, that'll just give me a free point to just start throwing around reckless attacks without care of them getting advantage against me.
I could use a free charge of Unsettling Words, which will the creature must subtract a number rolled from the next saving throw it makes.
Reckless attack just means I get advantage on attack rolls, but anything against me gets advantage on attack rolls until my next turn.
Okay.
So
then
if
on
you can
the
disadvantage
big guy
them,
you're fighting, I'm going to use a charge of Bardic Inspiration in order to use Unsettling Words. So I'm going to roll 1d6.
Is there a save with that or anything, or is it just?
It will just next time it has to roll a saving throw. It will subtract the number rolled from that saving throw.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's okay. So saving roll. That's the one that affects saving rolls. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. It's going to be subtracting 4 from the next time you try to hit it, and that was a bonus action. So, as my next trick, I am going to shoot it. Actually, I'm going to shoot. There's multiple enemies, aren't there?
So he is within 60 of you. The gnoll is probably about 65, and the giant, the giant hyena is about 65 as well.
Okay, this thing has a range of 120 feet, so we're good. I am going to shoot it with my hand crossbow, the giant that is.
What is the range on that crossbow?
Up to 120 feet.
Is that the max range that you're talking
Yeah,
about?
that's the max range. Minimum range is 30 feet.
You would roll with disadvantage.
Okay.
So yeah, roll your attack. Roll 2 attacks and take the lowest of the 2.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, you rolled a natural 20, and then it was just like, no. All right, you fire this crossbow bolt, and it has a decent amount of time to travel, and he is able to duck out of the way as he sees it coming just past Magnus, managing to barely dodge it. Balrock, who
Sleeping.
is kind of sitting in the cart, stands up, and he is going to fire an Eldritch Blast. Can he fire 2? I don't know anything about his thing.
He just wakes up, starts floating up, T-posing, and starts shooting lasers out of his eyes.
Yes, that's it. He just becomes a god because why the fuck not? Yeah, he can only shoot 1 Eldritch Blast. So I don't think he's got. I think there is a point when you get a second Eldritch Blast attack. I don't think he has that yet. I think he's only got the 1. All right, so he's gonna fire an Eldritch Blast in the direction of this Fearbolg, and he's gonna miss, shooting a little wide. He drank this morning a little bit, so he's still a little drunk. Firing his Eldritch Blast, and he shoots it wide, whipping it past Magnus and barely missing the Knoll as well, who kind of looks up in a little bit of surprise by the loud ball of green energy that just flew past him. The hyena is going to run past you, Magnus, not getting in your range of attack, but is going to run past you and go towards the rest of the party, and is going to stop about 50. It's going to stop at about 50 feet of movement, so it's going to be about 15 feet from the cart, and it's going to wait for something to move towards it. And it's just going to sit there growling towards the horses. And it is now Dusk's turn, who, seeing everything that is happening, is going to jump from the cart and run an arch around the hyena, stopping beside it, not within 5 feet, but about 10 feet from it to its right. She is going to cast. She's going to cast Phantasmal Force on the Knoll, who succeeds in the saving throw against it, and that is the end of her turn. So we are back to Fearbolg, who is looking at you, growling a little bit, Magnus. He is going to cast. He's going to mutter an incantation under his breath, and I need you to roll a wisdom save for me, Magnus.
All right. Crit.
It's a crit. All right.
Yeah.
He mutters his incantation, nothing happens, and he just kind of looks a little confused. And he is going to, as a bonus action, change into a giant hyena using wild shape. And he's going to growl at you. And that is the end of his turn.
Druid, I'm gonna need some help because he has 2 health bars.
Trinket is going to fire an arrow towards him. Attempt to trigger sneak attack. The first shot, and I need the giant hyena stats. The first shot hits. She does hit him for. So you see Trinket behind you. You kind of glance back at figuring out that he is a druid, and you see Trinket pulling back another arrow and firing in his direction. That's 7, 6, 13, 5. Hits him for 17 points of damage. Slamming an arrow into his shoulder, and is going to try to fire a second shot, which misfires, and her bowstring snaps on her. whipping her in the face for 2 points of damage. So you see as she goes to pull back for another shot, her bow snaps and smacks her in the face. And she kind of stumbles backwards a little bit in the cart. Magnus, it is now your turn.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to fuck this boy up. Let's see here. 17 to hit.
17 hits. This form that he's taken is not got great AC.
9 slashing damage.
All right, you slash him across the face as he is growling at you. He yelps a little bit.
18 to hit.
18 hits as well. So you go for a second swing on him.
That's another 9 slashing damage.
Yep, slashing him across the face again. This form he's in looks a little bloody.
Yeah, I don't really. I gotta double check my stuff for bonus actions. So my turn's done.
Okay. I think you could. I think because you do. I think you have 2 weapon fighting, so I think your bonus action you can use as an attack, but I'm not sure.
Well, you need an actual weapon to do that.
Well, if you have natural claws or something, I think they count as weapons.
All right, I'll use
Because
up my bow.
That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing with Silverback.
Oh shit. Yeah, I'll do that then.
Because I think that's the rule. I think any weapon counts, including your fist. It could be an unarmed strike, and it still counts.
Well, it has to be light.
Oh, yeah. Well, claws are light. They're a part of you.
No modifier, so that's only a 9.
All right. You slam him one last time, and he drops the form, stumbling backwards a little bit as he's panting in his form. The gnoll, who is still beside you, is going to attempt to, with the spear, yank it out, and he's going to attempt to stab you again with it. He rolls, does a... does a 17 hit?
That's my AC.
So that he just hits you.
Yeah.
And he is going to stab you for 8 points of piercing damage. Which I think all these should be halved because it's piercing. I think you've been doing that. So yeah. So that's halved. And it is now Journey's turn.
Okay, as a bonus action, I'm going to cast Healing Word at the 2nd level to heal Magnus.
Cool.
Okay.
So that is going to
is that
heal
a
you
60-foot
12.
range?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah.
Okay, so heal yourself 12 damage. And then
Ooh.
just let me mark that off of my thing. And then I'm going to, as my action, cast Dissonant Whispers at the 1st level at the dude who is closing in on the cart because it'll make him run away if he fails a wisdom saving throw.
You are attacking the giant hyena.
Yeah.
Who is currently at the cart. Okay.
So I'm going to cast it, and then he has to succeed So I got 11 damage. So he has to pass a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. What is the save for that?
Let's see what the save is 15.
15. He rolls a 20. He rolls a natural 20. So he is unaffected. Does it do damage if he succeeds?
Okay, let me just check this quickly. Okay, he takes half as much damage and doesn't automatically.
So, roll your damage and.
I just rolled the damage.
So it's 11. So he takes 5 points of psychic damage.
Yeah.
So you see this hyena kind of for a second kind of lower its head and shake its head around as if it had something stuck on its head before looking back up at you and growling. Belrock, who sees this hyena now right up in front of everything, is going to cast. He's going to cast an Eldritch Blast in its direction. I'm just going to use D&D and Beyond to make him do it. And he hits it for 9 points of damage. So you see as he produces another green ball of energy within his hand and fires it, slams this hyena in the face. It letting out a loud yelp as it stumbles backwards a little bit before shaking off the attack and growling towards the party again. And due to this, it is going to charge you, Journey, who is the closest to it.
Yay.
And it is going to attempt a bite attack on you.
Fun.
Does a 21 hit?
Yeah, my armor class is 14, so.
All right, he is going to bite you for. So you see this hyena charge you and drive both its teeth into you, inflicting 14 points of piercing damage.
Woohoo.
As it bites down into you. Dusk, who witnesses this happening, is going to turn towards the hyena. And she is going to yell. She's going to yell the word flee in the direction of the hyena, and it is going to make a wisdom saving throw. Which I think. What is its wisdom? Which it fails. So right after biting you, it is going to almost tuck its tail kind of and run away from you. You do get an attack of opportunity as it's running.
I would like
you have to use a melee weapon.
I would like to shoot it with a knife.
Shoot it with a knife. All right.
Yes, I'm gonna throw my dagger of venom at it because it just bit my leg. I'm not
So,
gonna be moving.
Roll a melee attack with that dagger.
Yay. 24.
That hits. Roll your damage.
Okay, and this is piercing, so
Yes, and
that's going to be
then-
8.
And then are you doing the poison as well?
Yeah.
So roll 2d10, just do a custom dice with it.
Okay, let's see.
And the creature must
2d10.
succeed in a saving throw, which he fails.
So I'm gonna roll 2d10. Okay, here's 1d10. So that was a 7, and I'm gonna
Okay.
roll a second d10, and that is a 3. So that's 10.
Damn. This hyena's not looking good as it runs from you, limping.
I have 5 health. He has
Bloody.
nothing to complain about.
He is bloodied, whimpering as it is running away, and it is also poisoned due to the dagger. Which I'm trying to remember what the poison effect does. I think you take so much damage per. No, you get disadvantage on all of your attack rolls. That's it. And saving throws. So it is
Nice.
injured, and it is going to use all of its movement, which is 50 feet, to run away from you, kind of heading towards the dunes. The Fearbulg, it's back to him, is going to. If I can find his thing, because I'm tracking a lot of stuff.
Hey,
Hey. Oh, we forgot about Jared.
yeah.
You haven't
good.
said anything. You're supposed to say
I've
shit,
just-
bro.
Just been,
Did you even give me your roll? That's why I forgot about you.
No,
I rolled, yeah.
You didn't tell us that you
Say
rolled. You gotta say it, Jared.
I mean,
What did
you
you roll?
usually look at it, so
I haven't been looking. I have to look at 10 pages now on D&D and Beyond, so I haven't looked at it. What did you roll?
I got 13.
We'll put you before Balrock.
this is why I got pissed when both new players were on the other crew.
Yeah. I meant to bring one of them over here, but things got fucked up and he ended up with them.
But then you
So.
forgot.
Hey, I am juggling 3 campaigns and a bunch of other shit. It made sense, I forgot. But it's fine. If you guys find someone to join you, we can add people as we go. We'll get to you. I will let you attack. We'll let you get 2 actions for your attack because I'm just. You haven't said anything, forgot you existed in this call right now. I'm so sorry. You gotta speak, man. Maybe not as much as Hawks does, but you gotta speak.
Oh no, you guys seem like you were handling it pretty good.
He's been sitting there the last.
I'm
2
dying.
Yeah, the last 2 rounds of combat,
Fine.
just like this is fine. All
Can we
right,
just
so
replace him with Tick so I can heal fucking Journey?
Tig is not here. He is in the mountains. Let's see. This individual, he looks now a little concerned about everything that's going on. He is going to cast Moonbeam again, and he is going to have you roll a Constitution save with disadvantage. Magnus.
20.
20.
Non-nat.
Non-natural. A dirty 20.
Just to ease dirty 20, my friend.
He is going to hit you for half of the damage. So he hit you for. That would have been 22. You take 11 points of radiant damage. As a beam of moonlit energy slams down on you. And he is then going to attempt to flee. Running away from you. Trying to get closer to the dunes as he does this. Oh, wait. No, I know what he's going to do. Sorry. As a bonus action, he looks at you and he just turns invisible. And then he's going to flee.
Ugh.
So you do get an attack of opportunity, but you have disadvantage on the attack.
Cool. $17.
You just miss. You swing in the direction of where you had seen him just before he disappeared, and you hit nothing but air. And moments after you do this, you see a couple footsteps You see a couple footsteps appear a few feet from you before you kind of start losing them in the sand as he flees away. The Knoll, no, not the Knoll. Trinket is going to try to fire a shot at the hyena who is running away. And she's going to hit it and kill the hyena. Because there was no need to roll damage dice because there was no health left. So she takes out the hyena, and then with her second attack, she is going to attempt to hit the Knoll, who is beside you, Magnus. And she is going to hit him with a 22, which is going to inflict 8, 16, 21 points of damage to the Knoll, who upon getting hit is going to stagger a little bit and snarl in the direction of her before it is your turn.
Magnus just turns to the Knoll and just, I will give you one chance to run.
Roll an intimidation check.
I actually
This is
kind of
my
wanted
city.
to fail it so I can murder him, but I made a nat 20.
This hyena goes, or not hyena, this Knoll goes wide-eyed at your comment, and he takes a step back, and then another, and then he turns to run. You do get an attack of opportunity because technically he is running.
I'm not gonna take it.
Okay, he begins to run in the same direction you saw Fearbolt go.
While they run, Magnus is just gonna hold his hands back out and just say, "This was but a mercy."
Okay. Journey, it's your turn. Are you gonna do anything in this time?
No.
Okay.
Battle
Belrock
seems to be over, and I'm
and
dying. so-
Draka and Balrock are still in the cart. Eldraka, are you gonna do anything?
Do I get to?
You can. You certainly can now. There's no targets though.
How far away is the knoll?
The Knoll by now, because it started running, it was 65 feet, or it was 60 feet from you. It just ran another 30, so it's about 90 feet from you now.
Close enough.
Close enough. All right. You firing your cannon at him?
Yeah, I got a 22.
That hits.
And that's nine damage.
9 damage. Okay. How do you want to do this?
I just through the back of the head.
Just fire a shot right through the back of the head. You see, Magnus, you see as this knoll is running from you, you hear a loud crack behind you before the back of the knoll's head gets pierced with a large projectile, and the front side of its face kind of just explodes outwards, splintering out bits of bone and brain matter across the sand as it collapses.
Rackatomb.
Magnus, his arms just slowly lower back to his sides, and he cocks his head in the same way a dog does, as he just says, "What a waste."
And Journey, right after this happens, you see Dusk run up to you, and she is going to place her hand on you and cast Cure Wounds at 2nd level, and is going to heal you for 8 points of damage.
Yes. Time to heal.
And when she looks up at you, she just kind of looks up at you and says, "Are you okay?"
I'm a little worse for wear. I think this is the first time I've gotten hit this campaign, actually.
Well, this is the first time you've been in the line of fire, so.
But I'm doing better now. Thank you, little one.
She gives you a smile and then turns back in the direction of Magnus. Around this point, Magnus, you see up on the top of the dune the Firbolg reappear. And he is looking down at all of you, just quietly sitting there, not really saying anything. Or he doesn't do anything at first before he lifts up a hand and casts Moonbeam on you again. So roll
I
another
just know when to quit.
roll a con save with disadvantage. And there is
20.
you 20, you said?
23.
23. Dear God. Don't give this man what he wants, man. You take 4 points of radiant damage. That is the halved version. So that is 4 points of radiant damage you take. And he kind of frowns at the result. And he is going to wild shape into a giant vulture. And is going to take flight and fly away 60 feet.
Away?
Yeah, he's flying away from you.
All right.
We pursue this guy in the cart. We have ranged attacks at our disposal.
Do you ask this?
Yeah, I'll ask you. I mean,
Magnus-
if we leave a
Magnus
survivor, he's likely to
looks
come
over.
back with more.
Cowards do not need the waste of energy to hunt down. If they come back, at least it'll be a fair fight. He just picks up his axe from in front of the cart.
You say so.
So you watch as this vulture just flies off into the distance, every so often glancing back in your direction before it finally disappears over one of the dunes and you can no longer see it. You all gather yourselves back into the cart, preparing to leave and continuing along the way. The rest of the day goes uneventfully. You don't see anything. You make camp about an hour after it gets dark, resting between two sand dunes in a little crevice that kind of conceals the light from other parts of the desert. For this night, is anyone going to keep watch? Who would wish to keep watch?
When we keep watch, we're still under effects of long rest, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So the period is 8 hours. You usually take about 2 to 3 hours of that to keep watch. You just kind of sit there and watch.
All right. Yeah. I'll take first watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna rest because I've been injured.
Okay. So
No, you got injured too, but you're used to it.
Yeah, I'm more worried about my charges of rage.
So yeah, you all take a long rest, relaxing under the moon's light. Roll a perception check for me, Magnus.
19.
Okay. Your watch, for the most part, is pretty uneventful. You listen to distant cries and screeches of desert animals, sounding of vultures and wild dogs like coyotes and hyenas and things of that nature. And probably about after the first hour or so of your watch, you get an odd feeling. And as you're looking around, you notice a good probably 200 feet away, there's a figure standing atop a dune. And it's just standing there, staring in your direction. Unmoved or anything else. It is just there.
Magnus just gets up, axe in both hands, and he just kind of stands there like the same way. Fuck, when was it? Because it's not right at the start of it. Kind of the same way that Kratos stood at the start of God of War 4 with his axe.
Yeah.
Just kind of both hands kind of down, just squared up, and he just fucking looks over at this figure.
The figure remains unmoved as you do this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, like, after a little bit, Magnus is just he's still gonna be standing and just keeping watch. And he's just gonna survey the area still, but he's always gonna go back to seeing that motherfucker.
Yeah. So that figure, as you can hear sitting there, it stays where it is. Every so often you see its head move slightly or an arm shift. But it doesn't move from its spot. Just staring at the camp. And it continues to stare. Unmoved.
Yeah, because you said, like, how many feet is it away approximately?
You would say maybe 200 feet. The desert could be deceiving. It could be closer, but based on your idea of the distance, it's about it's a maximum of 200 feet. It may be 150.
Yeah, there's no point in me wasting time with whatever the fuck that is unless it's getting closer.
Okay. So you continue your watch. This figure unmoved. The end of your watch comes. Who do you want to wake up for the next watch?
Probably Trinket, because Trinket probably has the strongest ranged attack, and
Yeah.
they get
So
close. Yeah.
you go to wake up Trinket. How do you want to wake up Trinket?
It's just a quick, just like shake of the shoulder, and that's about it.
As you do this, she goes, huh? What? Is it my turn? She kind of blinks her eyes several times before wiping the sleep from her eyes, sitting up a little bit.
Yes, and make sure to keep watch of the one out there. And he just points towards
So
where he saw the figure.
when you point and you point in that direction, the figure's gone. And there doesn't look to be, based on what you can tell, you can't see footprints or anything of that figure.
Watch for company. There was something out there.
She says, got it. This. Yep, I'll keep watch. And she gets up, moves over to the cart, kind of goes through some things in the cart and gets a little bit of water. So you settle down. Her watch, nobody has woken up during her watch. She ends up waking up Balrock for the next watch. During his, nothing occurs as well. And the rest of the night goes uneventful. You guys wake up the next morning as the sun begins to rise, the desert begins to heat. A warm breeze passes through, kind of the initial waking up of everyone. And as you guys ready the cart, who would like to drive and who would like to make the check for the day?
I'll make a nature check.
Make a nature check?
Yeah.
Sure.
$18.
Okay.
Fuck, no. Dirty 20. I thought it was a +3. No, it's a 5.
Okay. So you get through the next day, you watch the various wildlife and how it travels through the desert. And doing this, you also find easier paths since there isn't really a true road in these dunes. You find easier, more solid patches of sand as you're traveling. Avoiding places the cart might slip and tumble. Horses may get hurt, stuff like that. And the day passes by quickly, and you actually gain distance doing this. Noticing these better paths, and you actually catch up for the lost time you had lost the day before. The new night begins, and I'm going to have somebody keep watch again.
I'll do it now that we've long rested the night before. I have my spell slots back and stuff.
All
so.
right, Journey, I'm going to have you roll a perception check.
Okay. Let's roll a perception check. 2 again.
2.
Okay.
All right.
So it's 4.
You go through the night humming to yourself. You kind of in a daze. The sun has maybe gotten to you a little bit, making it a little hard to focus on some things. And you quietly hum to yourself, not noticing anything around, or nothing catches your eye in the night. Your shift for the few hours you're
Can I
awake,
heal myself while I do that?
you should be full healed.
Oh, I should be full healed.
Yeah.
Okay, I am.
Long rest is full healed, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And your watch ends up wrapping up uneventful. And who would you like to wake up for the next watch?
I'll wake up. Let's see. Who did it last?
Me.
Okay. I'll wake up Trinket.
Okay. You wake up Trinket. She lets out a grunt. Mm-hmm. She said, is it my turn?
Yep.
Kind of blinks a little bit. She sits up, rubs her head a little bit. Lets out a yawn. Says, turns to you and just says, how are you holding up with all this?
No, it's a bit tiring. Never been on the road this long in my life over the past few weeks, but it's fine.
She gives you a slight nod.
How are you holding up?
I think I'm doing well. I'm not sure. It's just a lot in my mind. But I think it'll get better. Hopefully.
Okay. Well, good luck on watch.
Thank you. She gets up, kind of moves up onto the top of a dune overlooking the camp, sitting up there quietly. Her watch passes by. No one's awakened by anything during the night. She wakes up you, Magnus, next.
All right.
She kind of taps you with the with a sheathed rapier, kind of tapping you with the sheath. Says, "Hey, mind taking a watch?"
Yeah, he just silent as the fucking grave, just opens eyes, gets up.
As she is getting ready to settle down, roll a perception check for your duration of the watch.
22.
22. As she is settling, she pauses for a moment. She kind of stares into a distance, and you turn your head and notice the figure from the night before, standing roughly 150, 200 feet away again. Just
Like
standing
somebody wants
there
to sell us something.
on the top of a dune, watching.
Do you see it?
She squints her eyes a little bit and she says, yeah, I can't make out what it is.
Hmm.
It's fuzzy to me.
When she says fuzzy, do I see that the same way as some kind of fuzzy or anything
You
like
see
that?
it as a humanoid individual.
Like, he's just gonna do what he did last night's watch, but now he's just like Magnus is probably just like absentmindedly rubbing at the symbol burned into the palm of his hand.
As you do this, the figure does the same thing it did the night before, not moving. She gets up. She begins to ready her bow, which she had restringed while you guys were traveling, and nocks an arrow and slowly begins to walk in the direction of the figure.
Stay. Sleep.
Pauses. And she just looks back and she says, But if it
Don't
she kind of
risk whatever that is.
she sighs, takes the arrow and puts it back in the quiver. Puts her
I'll
bow
wake
over her
you up
back.
close enough to shoot at.
She gives you a nod.
Don't leave the firelight tonight.
She sits back down and leans up against the dune a little bit, and she doesn't quite fall asleep for a while. Just kind of sits there quietly, kind of watching in the direction of the figure. And it does the same thing as the night before. It doesn't move. On occasion, you'll see an arm twitch or the head jerk in one direction quickly, a leg shift, but it never gets closer or further away and just sits there quietly, watching. And the night continues and time passes, and you hear a noise come from somewhere behind you, and you turn and look. There's nothing there, and you look back, and the figure's gone as the sun begins to rise. Warm breeze passes through, starts. Trinket is one of the first to get up before you start waking anyone up, and she looks around, looks in the direction of the hill, and looks to you, Magnus, and says, Did anything happen?
No. It is simply a watcher for now.
I see. She just gets up and she begins to wake up the others, starting with Journey and moving to Dusk and so on.
Anything happened last night?
Uh,
Nothing special.
I saw something, but I don't know.
What'd you see?
Weird. I don't know. I couldn't make it out. It was fuzzy to me. Some
The
blob.
darkness of the desert is heavy on the mind.
Yeah, I'm living that right now. Well,
Kinda-
let's get going.
She kind of looks at you, Magnus, as if almost as if she's suspicious of something, like you're not telling her something, or if she just doesn't know quite what to think of what you're saying. Then her eyes kind of fall to the sand for a moment. She quietly turns the cart and climbs into the cart. All right, who wants to try and make it for the final check? I do want Andraka to try something. What would you like to try, Andraka?
Ugh. Magnus used nature last, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We've had nature, we've had
Survival.
survival, and we had
Another
Oh.
survival.
Another survival. We have 2
Failed.
survivals. Yes. So you just look through the skills and tell me which one you think. Give me the skill you want to use and how you want to use it, type deal. Because I kind of got the other ones; they made sense.
I want to use intimidation.
You're gonna intimidate the desert.
Yes.
Can we role play this for me? I would like to see your role
No,
play.
no,
me.
no.
I
He
want to.
uses his lightning cannon to generate static, and he gathers all the sand into massive balls and shoots them away.
If he doesn't have, like, if he doesn't make this roll, is that going to slow us down?
There's a chance.
Oh.
Do you want to? What do you want to
No.
do, Jared?
I was planning on using nature because that's like my best one that I could use.
I mean,
Like you can use it again. The DC is going to be higher this time though because we've already used it.
I know that's why I don't want to use it.
the thing is that if the DC, he probably planned the DCs to be incrementally higher if people were to use these multiple times over. So the second time around may not be that bad.
And if you can give me a valid reason on why you want to use that skill, like describe exactly how you would do it, the DC may change.
Oh yeah, also, I never got any info on, like, if proficiency in navigator's tools could apply help to anyone.
It would have helped you with your checks, but you rolled so high. It did, and I did say with Journey's check, instead of you guys just being lost for the day, you did find your way back on course
All right.
because of it.
I would like to use religion and give a small prayer to my God asking for direction.
All
Let
right.
divine a path through the sand.
You know what? That might not be as a difficult check as I would.
Son of a bitch!
What did you?
Not one.
You pray to your God as everyone is beginning to. Would you like to give us the prayer?
No.
No. Okay. You pray to your God as everyone is getting their things together, and you're waiting for a response as the cart begins to move, and nothing comes, and it's silence. And at one point, you think you hear something, and you turn, and it's just a vulture chewing on, like eating off of a dead carcass.
That guy, he's back.
Does that mean we have the time
So
for
you
me to
guys,
make a check?
I would allow someone else to make a check. You guys
Okay,
will
actually-
lose some of the day. You guys lost a few hours from this because you didn't exactly get navigated anywhere. You just kind of.
Does Journey have a role that they would want to try before I just go to the tried and true?
I think we go with the tried and true.
Okay.
Take it away, big
Nature.
guy.
You know, you could. Oh, you want to do nature again? I was gonna say
I mean-
perception is also one to use, but
Oh yeah, I'll use perception actually.
yeah, you guys haven't used that one yet. I would allow that one. So
21.
okay, you guys managed to get back on course. At first, with Andraka just trying to blindly lead the way for a moment, kind of pointing in random directions as he thinks he's trying to get in touch with his god, and they are not listening.
I feel like he does that, and Magnus just pulls out a compass from his navigator tools and just says, "Your god is lying."
My God, ain't saying shit.
Yeah.
And Dragon just quietly sits there, just yeah. I like that. Pretty funny. So you guys end up getting back on course, and for the rest of the day, it is, which the whole survival challenge thing that I did, it wasn't going to be a hard one. I had very little things planned for you guys. If something went wrong, and I had to roll a certain number for when you failed. So you guys
I
only.
just want you to know, if that druid comes back, I'm going to do things that may not be appropriate for Twitch.
Wow.
War crimes will be had.
Wow.
Who hasn't committed a war crime or two in their day, right? Who
Like,
hasn't?
The Wild
I'm
West
going to get a
campaign,
notepad
one of
and
us.
start writing down this grisly scene because I need it to be as descriptive as possible. and
Well,
how
we've already had one person shoot a baby in the other campaign, so you know.
Okay, then maybe what I do will be okay for Twitch.
Because I thought the baby thing was a little far, but in retrospect, it made sense for the story. But we will move on with this. So, you guys do the sun is beginning to set as you or it's about an hour or two before sunset. You see the town appear before you. At first, it kind of looks like a mirage, the heat coming off the sand, making it distorted and hard to perceive. And as you get closer and closer, this town begins to just kind of lift from the sand and appear. Small wooded structures, most no higher than maybe 2 stories, and it's very few of them that are. There's one in the town near the center that is 3 stories tall. No, it is only no. They're all 2 stories. Yes, I'm saying it wrong. There's no building higher than 2 stories. There's one that's a little taller, but the roof is pitched a certain way on this building. The buildings, as you guys get closer to the town, a lot of them look dry rotted or getting into the states of that. And I'm going to have everyone roll a perception check for me.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Now I get a
Dirty.
nat 20.
Dirty 19.
Wow. All 3 of you, as you guys enter this town, you come to realize there's no wildlife anywhere in a town like this.
That's wild, man.
You don't see birds. You don't see rodents, wild
Yeah,
dogs that
that's
may find shelter. There's nothing. It is dead in this town.
Damn.
As you guys make it into the town, one of the first few buildings you run into is actually a stable, which Trinket, who is at the reins at the moment, turns the horses into the open doors of the stable and kind of brings it inside, stops.
Place without animals, that's a pretty wild life, bro.
I hate all of you. She stops the horses and hops off the cart, says, I think we can leave the horses here and do a little bit of looking around. They should be fine for a day. I'll set up water for them and food. She moves over to the horses and begins unhitching them and sticking them into the stables that are the little kind of holding areas for the horses that seem to still be in decent condition. Probably because nothing out here is actually tearing it up, and the sand, due to it being dry, doesn't allow, or the conditions being dry, there's not really much for the wood rotting.
Journey, what are we doing out here again?
Pretty wolf lady said, ghost town, investigate what happened. This looks like a ghost town. So I guess step 2, investigate what happened to the people who lived here.
Perhaps we should check if any booze has survived.
Yeah, if there's no one here, you can declare salvage rights.
Salvage rights. I remember those days.
And
Well,
you guys keep talking.
Doesn't seem to be anything around. Should we just walk in?
No other choice. We won't find anything standing out here.
True enough.
Around this point, Trinket and the others make their way out of the stable, closing the doors to the stable behind them. Trinket turns to you and says, so where would you guys like to start?
Oh, let's start at the saloon.
She gives you a nod. Kind of looks to one of you to take point. Are you anyone going to take point, or is she going to?
There's
step
a
forward?
pretty obvious choice.
You're going to take point.
No, Dusk is going to take point.
No,
It's-
fucking Journey's gonna take point.
I'm gonna
Yes, they can absorb a single blow.
Well, no, there's an enemy, but you'll be dead. All right. You guys begin moving through the town around this point. Roll. Actually, we'll keep the perception checks you had. It's not hard to figure out the different buildings in this town. You find in this town there's a couple of there's a general store. It's not a very big town, maybe a mile wide. You do find like a general store at one point. The shelves, uh, some have rotted food on the shelves. There's cans of various different foods, stuff that some of it there you can actually you figure out looking at it and just looking it over. You could still eat, considering it the way it was preserved. You also find an old smithy. Nothing finished or around it. No kind of crafted weapons that were left behind, or nothing that you really notice as you pass through. You do
Could
find
we
the
make?
saloon.
Oh, sorry.
What were you
Can
gonna
we
say?
make a survival check to see if we can figure out how long ago that food spoiled?
Sure, I'll let you make a survival check.
6. My rolls are not the best today.
You don't know.
I'll pick up the slack with a 15.
Um, Even for you, it's a little hard to tell how long it's been there. The stuff that is rotted, you don't know how long it's been rotting for. Um, Due to the places you grew up and the things you've experienced, you don't know how long it takes for food to rot in a desert climate. You would if you were in a snowy climate or um, even a jungle or a forest, you would have a pretty good idea. Here it's a little tough, and you're not sure. You would have to guess it's been there. Some of it's been there for probably somewhere close to a year. Some has been there, you guess more, but you're not sure. It's just due to the desert climate and no wildlife of any kind being around, it has just been rotting due to uh, the dry conditions type deal.
I
Fair
can
enough.
know a better time from a body. It's easier to figure out the age on their rot.
You say so.
And you guys do end up finding the saloon after a bit of searching. Uh, and when you find it, it's kind of your stereotypical corner saloon type deal. The two swinging doors. One of the doors is actually on the ground, kind of partially covered in sand. Sand has kind of blown into a lot of these buildings. You go inside. There's a couple tables that are still set up. One or two of them looks to have collapsed due to dry rot. A few chairs here and there, a couple knocked to the ground, like someone may have passed through at some point. No, not anytime recently. Um, and as you head to the back, behind the bar, you do find a couple of bottles of whiskey and spirits. The labels have been faded off of them to the point you can't read them. But you can tell that they've been there for a pretty good amount of time. They've probably aged pretty well. There are a couple bottles as well that look to have been broken at some point. By what, you don't really know. But if you want to collect these bottles, I would say 4 bottles of aged whiskey and 2 bottles of I would say aged gin would be the other one.
Alright, I'll grab those.
All right, so you collect those, and as you continue to look around, there's not really much to find. And just before the sun begins to set, you guys kind of go out the backside of the saloon, and as you do, you turn a corner of an alleyway, and you see this very large building. You can only assume it was like some sort of city center, maybe government building or library or something. It was just a very large building, one of the larger buildings. And as you turn this corner, you hear kind of a noise of almost like rapid wind for a second as two figures appear out of thin air before this building. Both are cloaked, one of which, upon appearing, stretches out large brown wings as they stretch a little bit and turn to their companion, who you can't see any identifying features of this individual. Their face is completely covered. They kind of look around, don't see anything, and they're this individual who is completely obscured, who you cannot identify who they are, looks to be carrying. It almost looks like a simple sledgehammer. It looks almost like a brick on the end of a stick, almost, but like a brick of metal of some sort on the end of a stick. And they look around for a minute, converse a little bit, and head inside the building rather quickly, not seeming to notice any of you.
I don't know what to think of that, because I am definitely not the sneakiest of individuals.
Always have a drink in an eye. Take a crack at it.
Sure. Yeah, that would work.
All right, I'll go. She kind of pulls out her rapier and her knife and looks to Journey and quickly begins to scurry across the street towards this building. If you're gonna follow her, roll a stealth check.
Dirty 20.
All right, you guys are quiet. You barely hear your own footsteps as you approach this building and enter. Trinket first goes in, kind of peeking around. The first room that you enter, where the doors have been one door is kind of creaking on its hinges, looks to barely be on, the other one on the ground. This front room looks like a large foyer of some sort, kind of like a reception area of like a nice building. A large desk behind at the other end of the room, two doors on either side of this desk that seem to lead into other back chambers. On your right, there's a large, looks to be a lounge area. The left also looks to be a lounge area of some sort, but it has tables and chairs. The right side has more of couches and love seats and armchairs and things of that nature. And there's a staircase that looks to be beyond the door on the left, behind the desk. And on the right, the door is closed. Trinket and you get into the first room, and she looks to you and says, where do you want to go?
Where are they least likely to be?
She shrugs and says, I'm not sure. It could be anywhere in here.
I was going to say we pick that out and we go to the exact opposite place. I know. I don't want to leave these people to their own devices for too long. That means confronting them right now or just listening on them. It doesn't really matter to me.
We could check upstairs if you want.
It's fine with me.
She gives you a nod and she goes to start making her way to the stairs, and then you hear the sound of footsteps. But they're not your normal footsteps. they seem lighter, and they seem to have almost a rattle to them.
Oh, I don't like
As
that.
They're getting closer, and Trinket quickly grabs you and drags you into the large room where the couches are, and quickly pulls you behind one of the large couches. And she peeks
Good to me.
behind, and you guys are sitting there quietly, awaiting for whatever is approaching. And a few moments pass, and from where the staircase, or from the doorway that the door was closed, it opens. You hear it open ever so slowly, loud creaking as it opens, and moments later, you see 3 skeletons walk out, and they seem to be kind of clinking their jaws, looking around. But they don't seem to have noticed you as they're looking around the front foyer, trying to identify anything that may have passed through. Trinket looks to you kind of nervously, seeing what you think of the situation.
Well, I don't think there's any negotiating with skeletons, so perhaps we beat a hasty retreat back across the street and tell everyone else what's up.
She nods and just says, I agree, but how are we going to get over there?
We run.
Are you sure you want to do that? Because they'll probably follow, and then that's going to mean no talking, only bashing.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
Lead them back to our more combat capable people.
All right.
Or hey, are there any bottles around?
Not where you are.
Ah.
But she says, I think I have an idea. She looks up again, and you see her pull back her sleeve on her right hand and begins to shift it in the air. And you can identify the motion as someone who has cast magic before, and you realize she's casting Mage Hand. You can't see this spectral hand though that is coming from her, as she is maneuvering it around. And you hear in the room adjacent from where you guys are, you hear a clink of something falling to the ground, and the 3 skeletons quickly turn in that direction and rush in. She turns to you and says, "Now." She gets up.
I'm just gonna do that comedic Hanna-Barbera where you're pumping your fist running.
Yeah, are you trying to be quiet about it, or are you just full on dash?
Fun dash, and then I'm using Mage Hand myself to make another noise in the room that they're in.
Okay. Okay. You begin to dash out of this room, and the moment you hit the foyer, all 3 skeletons stop and they turn and look at you. And one of them slams their short sword against their shield and begins clattering its jaw louder. And as you guys dash out the door, a floating hooded figure floats out of the doorway that they had come from, and it points a finger at you and it says, "Stop them." And the
I thought this was
skeletons
a
pursue.
ghost town, not a skeleton town.
Yeah, so the skeletons are chasing you guys out the door. Magnus, you can see Trinket, who barrels out of this building first, being a rogue, being significantly faster, flying out of this building and pulling out her bow, while Journey comes running after her. And a second or two passes as they get out of the building, and 3 skeletons emerge. So I'm gonna have everyone roll initiative.
Okay. Because really all it is for me is just gonna walk over and start being the big dude.
The large
dirty
man.
20.
Dirty 20. Wow. What did you roll, Journey?
12. Dirty.
12. What did you roll, Elmdraka?
6.
Okay. Trying to write this down. Journey. And that's... Oh, and Belrock, for the time being, is with the cart. If he comes back, he caught up to you guys. Because I'm not dealing with him not being here.
These skeletons are not gonna enjoy today.
Okay. So, Magnus, you are first.
Okay. All right.
You are about you're about 100 feet from everyone who's coming out. You're 100 feet from Journey and Trinket. You're about 150 from the building the skeletons just came out of.
Thanks,
All right.
Scoob.
Yeah, I'll just... Actually, no, it's still 100 feet. I can't do that if I wanted to. Yeah, I'm just going to take full dash action to head over to them.
Okay, so you begin running over, kind of rushing towards them as these skeletons prepare for combat. One of the skeletons, who is actually wielding a bow, is going to pull back an arrow and is going to try to hit Trinket with the arrow. It misses, firing the arrow, and she swiftly ducks out of the way and is going to return an arrow back at the same skeleton, which she hits with that one and is going to roll numbers that are evading me. There they are. It's going to roll a dice that I made really loud. She... Let me just click on the things I'm supposed to be clicking on and not instead of everything else. Yeah, she hits the skeleton, knocking off one of its arms as it stumbles backwards a little bit. And quickly reaches down and picks up its arm again, kind of holding it there. And it is now the other skeleton is going to rush forward. Is going to attempt to take a swipe at you, Journey. What's your AC?
14.
14. He is going to strike you with a short sword, inflicting 5 points of slashing damage as he rakes the sword across your chest.
Well, that's not fun.
Another one is
I'm going to take a reaction, and I'm going to use Hell's Rebuke on him.
All right. What is the check for that? Because I know there's a check.
Okay, let's see. It's a dexterity save of 15.
Dex save. Let us see if the skeleton... He fails the dex save.
Okay, and I'm going to cast this at the 2nd level.
Okay. Roll the
Okay.
damage for that.
Let's see. That's going to be 25.
You explode a... It's fire-based, right?
Yeah.
Yours is fire-based, yes. So you explode this just aura of flaming energy towards the skeleton, who is immediately blasted back. The bones charred, scatters into pieces. Whatever leathers and other materials were on it were incinerated instantly.
I'd be like, yes, but then, ouch, I got hit. That was my first kill.
And it is dead. It is now your turn after you killed him.
Nice. One left, right?
There is the one with the bow on the porch and the one that just attacked Trinket and missed with the sword.
Then I'm going to go after the ranged one with my own crossbow.
Okay. Fire a shot.
Nat 1, but it's a 6.
Because it's a nat 1, it's a I want to say it's a misfire. I think that's do crossbows have misfire on them? Where you
Oh,
damage
dude,
yourself?
normal bows don't even have misfire. No, that's only
Oh,
firearms.
I've had DMs in the past that are like, your weapons have misfire if you nat one on them, and you have to repair them on a turn. I didn't realize that. Oh, that's, you know what? Perfectly fine. You just missed your shot. I didn't realize that was actually how it was. I've always
Cool.
done
And
this.
then
We've always done misfiring. I've just never knew about it.
I'm gonna use. Who's going next?
Dusk is the next in the order.
I'm gonna give her bardic inspiration.
All right, you shout something in. What would you shout to Dusk? I want
I don't
to
know.
hear.
Maybe
I want to hear what Journey would say to give someone bardic.
probably
inspiration.
tell her to go for the legs, and bring the whole thing down.
Legs.
She's short, so
Yeah. She, feeling inspired as she is rushing towards you all, she's going to take a full dash. So she's going to make it 50 feet. She just makes it halfway. She's not there yet. She's halfway there. She's got to take another turn to dash all the way there. And around this point, you see the phantom figure you'd seen before, this dark cloaked figure floating in the air, drift out of the building, and it goes towards Trinket.
must be what put the ghosts in Ghost Town.
And it reaches out towards her and says, "You shouldn't be here." And is going to attempt to grab her, which it succeeds, and is going to inflict 14 points of necrotic damage onto Trinket. And as it grabs a hold of her and you see this happen, you watch as it almost seems like the life is sucked out of her. Her face hollows out a little bit. She lets out a weak groan as if just the pure essence of who she is was kind of drained a little bit.
So how far away is that thing from me?
It is about, you ran 60 feet, so it is a Trinket was 100 from you, so it's about 40 feet away.
All right.
All right, and is now back to the top of the order with Magnus.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay, so
Oh, Eldraka, you're next. Yes,
Jared,
I'm
you need
sorry.
to use your fucking words.
Hey, he had me written down this time. He's just stupid.
Actually, it didn't. You didn't make it on the paper. I was writing down a bunch of things. Yes, Eldraka, you're next.
Goddamn words.
So you are 100 feet away from everyone. Eldraka. What are you gonna do?
What is it that? What happened? That cloaked figure came
The
out.
cloaked figure came out and seemed to suck the life essence out of Trinket.
Okay, I'm gonna not shoot it because I probably missed.
Let me check. That's a hit.
I got a 15.
hit.
Oh. Okay, that's 11 damage then.
What kind of damage is it?
Piercing.
It's piercing. Is your weapon magical?
Yes.
Okay. You said how much damage again?
11.
11 points of damage. You strike this thing with this arcane round that goes through the cloak, leaving a large hole within it as it shifts slightly, and it kind of lets out a groan of pain as it places a hand over the hole that you've just put into it, and it looks in your direction, but you do not see a face looking back, just darkness from under the hood. It is now it is Magnus's turn.
All right. I'm gonna use 30 feet of movement, get as close to that thing that attacked Trinket as possible. I'm gonna use my bonus action to pop Rage, and this time I'm gonna have the tail. So now I have 10 feet of reach, which means I can attack that thing.
Nice.
Okay.
Quick maps.
Fucking reach mechanics semantics. And that's a nat 20.
Roll damage.
Let's see. 17 piercing damage.
All right. You slice this. Are you you sling the tail towards it in? I'm assuming like a scorpion motion, kind of in a stabbing type motion.
Yeah, definitely.
You go to stab this thing, and you drive the point of this tail into the top of the hood, and as you do, doesn't it doesn't get the chance to make a sound as you pierce through the hood, and the hood seems to just the whole cloak in itself rips apart, and then just turns to dust, and it's gone. Trinket limps back a little bit as this thing dies, and she's still looking very withered from what happened. The skeleton with the bow is going to put his arm back on. He's going to ready his bow, and he's going to fire a shot at you, Magnus. Does a 17 hit?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's going to hit
Wait,
you.
actually, hold on. Haven't used the tail in this campaign yet, which is why I almost forgot about this. Because I can use a reaction to boost my AC. No, it doesn't hit.
Does not hit. All right, it fires an arrow at you, and you manage to kind of smack it out of the air as the arrow and snap the arrow in the air, sending it into
You snap it in half with a
sand.
tail strike.
Yes. The other skeleton is going to attack you again, Journey. Or the other skeleton is going to actually no. The other skeleton is going to attack Trinket. Which he hits.
It has chosen to sacrifice its life.
It is going to inflict 5 points of slashing damage onto Trinket. She is looking very weak as she takes this slash across the chest, barely holding herself up from this slash as she looks up at it. And right after it slashes her, she's going to pull out her rapier, and she's going to attempt an attack at it. And she hits. Oh. 9 points of slashing damage. Taking off one of its arms as she swings at it, and she goes for a second attack. But it seems whatever weakness has come over her, she goes for the second attack, and she stumbles a little bit. The skeleton easily parrying her attack as it begins to clank its teeth again. It is now Journey's turn.
I'm going to cast Healing Word at the second level and try to heal Trinket up a little bit.
Okay.
So that's going to be 11 hit points recovered.
All right. When you do this, you heal her. Only the wound goes away. She still looks deathly, as she did before.
Well, that's not
As
good.
if some of the healing you gave her didn't go through.
And then-
yeah, that's a thing of that damage. I always forget.
And then as my action, I'm going to use my Dagger of Venom, which is no longer poisoned, and I want to throw it at the skeleton that's harassing her.
All right, roll an attack with that knife.
Okay, that's 22.
That's a hit. Roll damage. So you wield back this dagger after sending her a healing word. How would you like to do this with this throw?
Okay, did 8 damage. I see her kind of like having knocked the arm off of it, but it's still kind of like parrying her attack. I see her getting weaker. So I healing word her, tell her that like it's gonna be okay, and I take the dagger off my belt, kind of flip it up into my hand, and toss it over there, trying to kind of like hit it like plain in the middle of the skull.
Okay. So, like some sort of killer instinct within you just triggered and you realize that if you don't do this right, you may lose a friend type situation. You quickly, as if you'd done this several times in your life, flick the blade, holding onto the blade itself, and just launch it at the skeleton. And it turns its head just as the blade strikes it, knocking the skull off and actually piercing part of the skull and cracking it. And as the skull flies off about 5 feet from the body and it hits the sand, it actually cracks in half and the body collapses.
Second kill.
It is now Andraka's turn, because I did it in the wrong order. Yes, Andraka. There's one skeleton left. He is on the porch, about 150 feet from you.
Yoink. Well, that's a definite hit.
Wow.
21.
What is your range on that thing?
8240, but I got the sharpshooter feat.
Oh, so you're... Yeah. Okay, so you moved...
Basically just 240.
You moved forward 10 feet to do this. Oh, 240. You said. Oh, damn. That thing got some killer range. All right. Yeah, you hit it. Roll the damage. Or did you already do that?
I did now.
How do you want to do this?
I just shoot it in the head.
So just like the way that Journey disposed of hers, you fire yours. Just like the knoll you'd shot before. You slam this giant round into the head of the skeleton as it is focused on hitting Journey and Trinket. And at the last second, it turns in the direction just to watch as its skull is turned into powder. And the body falls and the bones scatter about.
Hey, free bone meal.
I could use that in my garden. And you are out of combat. All of your combatants are dead.
Definitely rush over to Trinket. See like what's up with her.
She's kind of holding her head a little bit. She just says, I feel like the life has been sucked out of me.
Draka, you're the magic type. Can you see what's wrong with her?
I scream and say, okay.
Okay! Alright, roll an Arcana or a medicine check for me.
While this happens, Magnus just puts a hand on, like, Dusk's shoulder, just... You will most likely be the one to help her once the lizard does whatever problems he produces.
I got a 23.
Okay, you can identify that she is suffering from a form of life drain. And what you know from that is her max hit points have dropped temporarily. And with a 23, you would know the only way to cure such a thing is either the spell Greater Restoration or a restoration potion of some sort, or a long rest. Are the only ways that you would be able to be cured of this endeavor.
Okay.
Do you relay that with anyone?
She just needs some sleep.
We hunker down in the bar. Continued rest investigation tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll just pick up Trinket and just fucking carry her to the bar.
She goes, no. We need to follow those people. I'll stay in the back. I'll be fine.
Trinket's too small to fight against me, right? Because I'm still gonna
Oh,
pick her up and take her to the bar.
She has barely a strength modifier.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick her up and take her to the bar.
And she's like 4 foot something, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick her up and take her to the bar.
Okay. You drag her to the bar. Dusk kind of lags behind a little bit, looking a little worried, before looking towards the building again, and then following suit. And you guys get to the bar. Trinket looks a mixture of defeated and irritated as you set her down. Where are you gonna take her specifically within the bar?
There's probably rooms upstairs in there.
There are rooms, yes. It's like
Yeah, I'm
it's like an old time tavern with a couple of upstairs rooms.
I'm gonna put her up in one of those.
You set her down. She doesn't really say anything. Just kind of sits there against the wall, knees up to her chest, kind of staring into the middle ground. Not kind of lost in thought for a second.
If one of us is damaged, we are all injured.
Oh, I'm physically injured, actually. So it's true. I say we hunker in here for a bit, bring the horses into town, perhaps, and wait till tomorrow before we continue this investigation.
As
Me
you say
tangling
that,
with any.
no, as you say you're injured, you keep saying your thing, but Dusk places a hand on you again and goes to heal you. Healing you for 15 points of HP.
Correction, I am no longer injured. Thank you, sweetie.
He says, no problem. And she gives you a smile.
Give her a pat on the back.
She kind of just runs off to go exploring around the building.
Kids.
Alright, so Trinket is set down in a room and is not talking. Balrock is actually with the cart. And Dusk is running around the tavern that you guys have claimed as a base type deal. So are you all taking a long rest?
Probably a good idea. Recover my spell
Um,
slots.
It is dark by this point, so you would be able to take a long rest.
Actually, yeah. I was gonna say I gotta check. Yeah, long rest.
Nap time.
Okay, so you guys take a long rest. Trinket remains in that room. Is anyone wanting to keep watch during this time?
I'll
You don't
take a-
have to. You don't have to take watch if you don't want to. Some locations may have a threat if you don't take watch, but some do not. I'm just kind of throwing that out there as a warning.
I'll take watch.
Okay. And how are the sleeping arrangements within this building? Are you guys each taking a room, or you all staying in the
Magnus
same
is
room?
setting up just on the other side of the room that Trinket's in.
Okay.
Yeah, imagine what I'm doing is I'm kind of walking on the outside of kind of like the the upper area, where all the rooms are connected to, overlooking kind of like the main saloon. So I'm probably kind of like patrolling that,
Gotcha. All right.
because
So
since it's a building, there's no way I could look at the entire exterior at once.
you're moving around the building. Roll a perception check while you keep watch this night.
Okay.
And Dusk has kind of fallen asleep in the same room as Trinket and has kind of positioned herself to comfort Trinket during the night.
Can I roll with advantage because I have dark vision?
You would roll regularly with dark vision.
Okay.
Without it, you would be at disadvantage.
Perception.
When you were in the desert, the moon
dirty
was
15.
giving you light. A dirty 15. All right.
Yeah.
You go through your watch, keeping an eye out, and as you noticed with the town before, it is eerily quiet in this town. Other than the skeletons and stuff that you had fought, there's nothing that makes a sound. The only thing you ever hear is the soft wailing of the wind, the occasional shifting of something because the wind blowing through. But other than that, you don't hear anything. But your watch goes uneventful.
Yeah,
And
probably get Andraka next, actually, because he has his massive fuck off lightning cannon.
all right,
So
how do you wish to wake up the lizard?
that's with a stick. Now we haven't really developed much of a working relationship. So I imagine I take like a curtain rod or something, and I kind of gently nudge him with it across the room.
Draka, this wakes you up. How do you respond?
I'm fine. and then I see her, and then I scream, and then I'm fine.
All right.
Kind of like, rubbing my ear, like the side of my head. You want to take next watch? Your lightning cannons proved quite effective against the undead creatures that we've encountered here.
If I must, I will.
You roll a perception check while you are keeping watch.
6.
You seem to, your mind seems to be elsewhere as you kind of wander the hall. Most of the time seems you seem more focused on your weapon or other such things that may keep you from listening to anything. The silence is driving you crazy a little bit. But you don't seem to notice anything throughout your watch. And do you wish to wake someone else up for a watch?
Sure. I'll wake up Magnus.
Okay, how do you go about it?
I just walk up and tap him. Like on the shoulder.
Yeah, it's just like always. It's just eyes open real fast. He looks up, just silent as the fucking grave, and then stands up.
All right. So, roll your final perception check of the night. And how do you want to go about your watch?
You know what? He's gonna like go. He's gonna climb up to like the edge of the roof so that he can just sit up there and look around.
Okay. There is an
And
inside access to like a kind of you. There is a like an entrance to like a upper porch landing type deal on the
yeah,
top of the saloon.
he'd probably go up to there and then climb up to get to the roof,
Yeah.
and that's where he would survey from.
So you get up there, the moonlight shining down, kind of illuminating parts of this tiny ghost town. Roll a perception check while you're up there.
24.
24. Interesting. While you are on your watch, you sit in silence, watching over the lifeless town, listening to the wind blowing through, the creaking of some loose doors on occasion. And as your eyes are scanning, on the top of the building, you'd seen the two figures enter. You, from the nights before, you see the figure again. And it's standing there, staring in your direction, watching. Does
Is
it
there a
move?
clear way for me to get from this building to that rooftop?
If you were to get down and go to that building, there looks to be a roof access.
Nah, I'm okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm just gonna hang out.
So, your night goes similar to other nights that you've had with this figure appearing. Silence as it sits there twitching on occasion, the head moving to the right or the left for a moment, or a hand just the ever slightest movement, a leg twitch, things of that nature.
Actually, during the night, Magnus is just like with the hand that has the burn scar and like the symbol burned into his hand. He's just gonna like sometime during the night, he's just gonna hold his hand out and kind of like just wave wave at the not wave at this, but like wave this shape towards him, like the come over here motion.
The figure, as you kind of make this gesture, repeats it back to you, as if to tell you to come to it. And then it returns to its stagnant movement, twitching on occasion.
Fuck it. Okay. Yeah, I do want to try to like keep it in my sightline while I get over to it, but I will go over to it.
Okay, it takes you a minute, but you do find a way. There is a side access to this building, kind of a ladder that moves up to the top. Took you a minute to find because it is blended in with the sand-covered walls and rust and other things. And as you begin to climb this ladder, you begin to hear a noise, something that doesn't belong in this town. And as you're climbing up, you hear whispers. And the whispers grow louder the higher up this ladder you get. And when you reach the top, he's no longer where he was before, but on the opposite end of the roof of you, standing there the same way he was before. And you take a step forward. He looks up to you. And when he does, you don't recognize him as who he is, but you recognize the where he's from. He looks to be a man, something similar to a man you would see somewhere in the meat grinder. On his face, a crooked smile rests, eyes devoid of any kind of life, or not life, humanity. And as he looks at you, a soft chuckle comes from his throat. And a blade slowly appears in his hand. The sword you'd seen before with the laughing mouth, with the blade through it. And as the figure stands there, it seems to change before your eyes. Each time you blink, the first time you blink, it changes to a woman. Large woman, built similar to that of a bull, same expression on her face, but the blade changed, and it is a scimitar. And you blink again, and it is a shorter, stouter man, and he's holding a sickle with the same symbol. And this happens again and again. And each time that you blink and this figure changes, the laughing that's coming from them seems to get louder and louder. And then, with one more blink, silence follows. And sticking in the roof is a large axe, with at the top of this handle the same chuckling mouth with the blade stabbed through it, resting there, its sharpened end dug in about an inch into the wooden roof.
Magnus just goes over to the edge of the roof that this axe is at, and he just sits down, his legs dangling off it, and he just looks over at the axe and he just says, "Well, we should come to an agreement, whatever you truly are. Can you even speak?"
You hear a very soft chuckle come from the blade, and you swear the little symbol on the top of the axe seems to shift ever slightly.
I come from a place where we are very superstitious due to the curses our witches like to play as pranks. I do not trust you, Blade. But as long as you do not ail me, I will wield you.
There's the soft chuckling continues for a moment. And it ceases. And the mouth on the top of the blade for a moment seems to almost shut before chuckling slowly starts again.
If I find that whatever you do is more akin to a curse than a blessing. I will cast you out into the sea. And he just takes the axe out from the roof.
As you grab this axe, it erupts with laughter, and you feel a burning on your right wrist for only a moment. And as you've picked up the blade, you have flashes before your eyes of others who have wielded it, others of the meat grinder and various other places. There's been, based on what you can tell, there are people from the meat grinder who have wielded this. There are people from Sarthstag, Almoria, even Gorgamoth, who have wielded this blade before. And as you look at the symbol burned into your wrist, it is the same laughing mouth with the blade stabbed through it as the top of the blade, top of this axe. And now that you've had that, and you come to realize, as this, it almost seems to speak to you as you acquire this thing, as you acquire this blade. And I have added this. So you now have, and you come to realize this thing goes by the name Insania Gladio is the name of this rune. It seems, the name almost seems to come to you instantly. You have, if I can give you the right item. There we go. And you know the name of this blade, as it seems to almost, it doesn't speak to you with words, but you come to realize the name of this thing is the Madman's Blade. And the laughing seems to cease as this information falls over you. And the blade is now in your hand and is silent.
Magnus just kind of looks down at the weapon and he just says, I lack much of my sanity, blade. If you attempt to take the rest, I will melt you down for slag.
It produces a soft chuckle. Falls silent again.
And he's gonna go back to the tavern and finish up his watch.
As you are walking to the tavern, it seems to, as you go to put it away, it almost seems to vanish from your hand. And for a moment, you're confused. And thinking about it back in your hand, it seems to reappear. And pretty much what you're getting out of this is you can summon and unsummon this blade as a bonus action. I think it's the exact things that it has for it. Yeah, you can summon and unsummon the blade as a bonus action. And there's a couple other things. I've put them in your inventory on what you can use with it. But you now have the Madman's Blade. You return to the tavern, finishing your rest. The day ends, or the night ends, and the day begins. Trinket wakes up, seeming a lot more lively than she did just before she went to sleep. Her face isn't as hollowed. She does look a little tired, even though she did sleep. Even though she had fallen asleep. And though she is rejuvenated in the sense that you can tell she can take a hit again. She is not reduced on her life force. So what would you like to do as everyone wakes up? Oh. I think he's having technical difficulties.
I guess.
Does your mic stop working or something? I wonder if he's having connection problems.
That would suck.
That would suck, considering
I'd probably get up
you're gonna get up.
and check on Trinket. Make sure she's doing okay.
Okay. When you enter the room that she's in, you see her kind of sitting on the edge of the bed. Her stuff's on the ground beside her, and she's just kind of slowly kind of bringing herself to be awake, looking a little tired. Let's out a yawn before looking to you and giving kind of a weak smile in your direction.
Glad to see you're doing okay.
Yeah.
Discord fixed.
Okay, we were assuming you had a Discord problem. She just looks at you and says, "Yeah, I feel better. A little tired. Didn't sleep the best, but it did the job." What about you?
Doing okay. Doing better now that you're doing okay.
The smile gets a little more lively than it was before, and she says, "That's good. We should figure out where those two went. We're a little more ourselves." She kind of slides off the bed, and, grabs her pack, throws it on her back, puts her rapier on her hip. She says, "Are the others already downstairs?" And you would know this. Dusk is already downstairs. She was all over the place and still seems to have a lot of energy. You don't know when she fell asleep last night, but you know that she was up before you and is very active. Magnus is also downstairs, and Draka is somewhere. Where are you, Andraka?
The roof.
The roof? You went on the roof? Okay. Draka ended up on the roof at some point during the night. All right. And so you guys reconvene in the front of this saloon. It's about an hour after sunrise. Cricket looks to everyone. Says, "So do we want to pursue this?"
Well, there's money to be made.
She gives
It's
you
kind of a great personal harm to ourselves, but we might as well make the journey out here worth something.
Yeah. I'm curious of the two that went in. I would like to know what they're doing.
I agree.
What about you, Magnus?
Yes. Whatever they are, they must be removed anyway.
She nods a little bit. Looks to the building. Says, "I don't think I should lead this, but who would like to go first?"
I will.
All right.
Dirtiest among us.
You guys head to this building with Magnus taking point. As you guys enter, you enter the same familiar front foyer as before. There are the two rooms on the left and the right. The one on the left has a couple of tables overturned from when the skeletons rushed in there. On the right side, there seems to be the lounging area with the couches, love seats, armchairs, stuff like that. And there you can see the stairs on the left doorway going up, and the door on the right looks like a small. You could call it a living space because there is a bed in there, but you're not quite sure what else is in there, in that room. But other than that, in this room, you do not see anything else in this front foyer. though there is the desk also that is before you that hasn't been looked at. So what would you guys like to do?
So you're saying did you say the upstairs area has not been looked at?
The upstairs hasn't been. The desk hasn't been looked at because the skeletons came in. The room on the left hasn't been entered, and the room on the right was entered but wasn't explored. And then the right side room behind the desk looks to be a small living space of some sort that also has not been explored. And Journey and Trinket would know that that was where the skeletons and the spectral being came from.
Well, guess that's a good place as any to investigate.
All right. Then I'll go in there first.
Roll a perception check.
$14.
Okay. You look around this space. It does look like a bedroom. There's an old broken bed. Looks to be a couple of old weapons laying about, probably what these skeletons were using. There's a wardrobe that has both of its doors have been torn off of it, and inside there looks to be various torn leather pieces of leather armor, broken items of various natures. Looks to be whatever they've collected from anyone who's fallen to them upon entering this town. Other than that, though, you don't really notice anything else within this room. Seems to be a simple living space, or was a living space that was occupied by these skeletons.
I gotta go for a sec.
Okay. Journey, I guess Journey and Draco will lead the charge on this. After
Ooh.
that. While he's doing that, where do you guys want to look around?
I will look around. Actually, can I investigate the skeleton's remains?
The remains of the skeletons?
Yeah.
You can. I'm not gonna make you roll anything for them. They're skeletons. There's not gonna be anything hidden. All you find on them is two of them had short swords, one of which you deformed a little bit when you hellish rebuked against it. The other one had a short bow. Those are the
Okay.
only
What
weapons you
about
find.
the creature that was leading them? You
There's
said
there's nothing
nothing
left
left.
of it. It
Not
turned to
even its
dust.
cloak.
No, the cloak turned to dust upon it being killed.
Wow. I guess we can't take that back as evidence. Okay. That's why I
And
wanted to.
to remind you, like, kind of what you were told with that, they said people had disappeared and there were potential artifacts. They just wanted to know, like, their big thing was if you find artifacts or something of value, they would be probably willing to buy it off of you. They're not necessarily
Okay.
caring about who's disappeared. They're more caring about what's there.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to explore any of the other rooms while Magnus was going through that back room?
What other rooms are there?
You have the room on the right, the lounge area, that you can investigate. There's the room on the left with the tables. It's a little smaller than the lounge one. You can also investigate, and there's also the upstairs and the desk. No one's looked behind the desk yet.
Okay, I'll look behind the desk then.
All right, roll a perception check for me.
Okay. Perception. Nat 1. It was about to roll 19 and then it bumped up against the edge.
Sounds about right. All right, you go back there. It
They're
looks
like,
like a regular reception desk. Or what would have been a reception desk. There's an old remnants of a chair. There looks to be a sort of rug behind this that the chair is resting on. The desk itself, there's some old brittle papers in the desk that when you go to touch them, they seem to just turn to dust. and just crumble under your toe.
Yes. The desk is made of desk.
But other than that, you don't see anything out of the ordinary. It's just the desk.
Okay.
You can move on to another room.
That's what I want to investigate.
That's all you wanted to investigate?
Yeah.
Okay, and Draco, what about you?
What was there? There was that room on the left in the lounge.
The lounge on the right, the kind of probably dining area on the left, or some sort of like cafe or something. And then there's the door to the left behind the desk is a staircase going up.
I'll go up.
Okay. You head up you go into this back room and you head up the staircase, and upon getting to the top, you find a large library. It looks to be some of the windows around this library look to be broken and the sand has gotten in. Roll a perception check for me. Unless you
Ooh,
wanted,
18.
you got an 18?
Yeah.
Looking around this library, you notice a lot of the books in here have been destroyed due to sand and various other elements that may have wandered in. However, when you're kind of looking around this library, you actually find 4 books that seem to be intact. Looking them over, one looks to be a book on bardic history, development in music. Another looks to be a tome for artificer magic and techniques. There's a history of Coffin Rim that you do find, and you also find a tome in Draconic. You don't speak Draconic, do you?
I do.
You do speak Draconic. You recognize this book. It is a book for it's wizard's magic, but it is for dunamancy. Is the magic that is contained within this book. And kind of flipping through some of the pages, you get the idea that this magic is used to kind of alter fate and chance and things such as gravity via various spells that may allow you to remake a choice that you instantly regretted, or kind of if you made a mistake, you can switch what timeline you are running along and change the possibility of what happened. But those are what you find within the library.
I'll take them all.
Okay. I will send you the list of what they were. And it's going to be a picture because this stupid program hates me. And now I can't find you. There you are. You're. There you go. Those are your things. All right. So do you head back downstairs once you've collected the books?
Did I find anything else?
That was it upstairs.
Yeah, I'll go back down.
Okay. You find Trinket kind of looking around the front foyer, kind of feeling along walls and looking stuff over. Doesn't seem to have found anything yet. Dusk is sitting in the lounge area on one of the decaying couches that looks to have started to dry rot. It looks to barely be holding her up as she's sitting there. She's talking to Luna as she's sitting there. And Journey has just finished looking behind the desk about the time that you come down. Do either of you want to look around anywhere else?
What else was there? The little dining area and the lounge?
Yes, the dining area and the lounge. Journey did look through the desk, but you can always go back over things if you want to, in case someone missed something.
I'll look around the lounge.
Okay. roll a perception. Actually, perception or investigation. If you want to get like really close to things, like look for anything specific, or like try to find like very in-depth detail, you could do investigation. If you're just kind of looking around, you can do perception.
Well, I have a +3 in investigation, so I'll do that.
Okay, so you're knowing that there's probably secrets here, you get down low and start looking at stuff very closely. What did you roll?
16.
16. With a 16, kind of going around, it takes you probably a good 30 minutes of feeling along the floorboards, checking various boards on the walls and things of that nature. You come across one that's kind of, it's partially covered by a rug. And as you pull this rug back, you find one of the floorboards is partially pulled up. And as you kind of yank it back the rest of the way, there's a small chest hidden underneath the floorboard. You gonna take it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you take this chest and you. Well, it was you gonna. Oh, Dill, what do you want to do with this chest? You have a chest. It's about the size. It's probably about a foot in length. You can hold it easily in one hand. It's more of like a jewelry box than a chest.
I'm just gonna hold on to it for right now.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go back to looking.
All right. This room or a different room?
I guess I didn't find anything else.
That was your check. That's all you found in this room.
I mean, if Journey doesn't want to do anything,
Journey, do you wish to do any more searching, or are you just kind of hanging out?
I think I'm just waiting to see what Magnus finds in the back room.
Okay. And he's taking a bit of time. You can see he's just kind of looking around, kind of tossing things around the room, trying to figure out what's going on back there. Draco, what would you like to search now?
I guess I'll go to that table room, whatever.
Yeah. Roll investigation or perception.
13.
Okay. You begin to search around this room. This one seems to not have as much. You do find a kitchen area alongside this. A couple things of rotted food, some canned goods here and there, a rusted knife or two. But other than that, you don't really find anything worth taking. And though, as you are kind of taking your loss and looking, kind of heading back to the main room, you do notice footprints. Not like the skeletons that you'd seen pass through, but more of a set of talons and more canine footprints, kind of leading to the desk from this room.
Can I tell if they're recent?
They look recent.
I'm gonna go tell the group.
Okay. No RP.
I see footsteps that look recent.
It turns and looks a little surprised that she didn't notice. Kind of walks up.
Interesting.
She says, "I don't know how I missed that." She moves behind the desk and kind of follows them. And she picks up the chair that was back there and kind of tosses it to the side and yanks up the rug that was there. And she says, "There's a hatch back here, a hidden one. Looks to be locked."
Kind of hatch.
As you turn around the edge, there's a metal hatch. Large lock on the top of this hatch. And she kind of gets down onto her knees and begins to pull out her thieves' tools and start fiddling with the lock. Around this time, Magnus kind of walks out from the back room and just says, "There was nothing back here."
That's exciting. Well, we found a hatch. Well, I didn't find a hatch. It was a group effort. It's locked. We're gonna see about getting that sorted.
And he
Our
kind
fun
of
subterranean adventures.
gives you a bit of a grunt. I wish he was here. His parents dragged him to go fix a fridge about 9 minutes ago, which sucks because I wanted him for this part, but it's okay. Well, she takes several minutes to mess around with this lock, finally managing to, with a loud pop, pull her thieves' tools from the lock and slowly open it. Open the hatch. This hatch looks like a ladder of sorts that just kind of slowly, that it descends into a darkened chamber. A little bit of light down there that seems to be dimly lighting the bottom of this ladder. It looks to be about probably about a 30-foot climb downwards. Trinket kind of looks up to all of you and pauses for a moment and says, "I think this is where they went. Unless they left town."
Rungs look sturdy.
She pauses for a second. She says, I'll go first." And she slips into the hole and starts slowly climbing down, testing each of the reins. She goes down, gets to the bottom, and kind of gives you a thumbs up. Looks out down this corridor that she is now in, and steps away from the ladder. Kind of not fully out of sight, but just enough that she's out of the way if you were to climb down.
Okay, I'll go down next.
Okay. You climb down this ladder. It's nothing difficult. It's a ladder. You can hold on everything. A little rusted. The smell down here, the air is stale. Seems that there's the greatest airflow down here. And as you reach the bottom, you find yourself in a large 20-foot wide corridor. This hatch probably only takes about 5 feet of the backside of this corridor. And looking down it is a long corridor with these torches on either wall, probably 15 feet apart from each other, dimly lighting this space as it leads down to a larger chamber that seems to have large metal doors that have been, one of which has been slid to one side just a little bit, just enough to allow someone to squeeze into the new room.
Well, I'd say that our people certainly came through here.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Let's wait for everyone else. And Draco, when are you climbing down?
Magnus is still up there, right?
Magnus probably would have gone down after Journey being
Okay, is
protective.
Dusk down there?
Dust is kind of looking down the hole. She hasn't moved yet. She kind of looks at you.
I'll let Nur go first.
She gives you a little bit of a smile and a nod. And begins her descent down the ladder. And you follow suit. Do you leave the hatch open?
No.
Okay, so you slowly close the hatch over top of you, and as you close it, you watch as the gears within this hatch, as it closes, seem to turn by themselves and lock the hatch. You do also notice, though, being someone who is experience with mechanics and things of that nature, there is a handle that you are able to turn in order to open this hatch again. And it
Okay.
appears that it bypasses the lock system.
Good.
And you climb down. You're all standing in this corridor, Trinket looking a little nervous. She draws her rapier, kind of looks to everyone, and slowly begins to move down this corridor. As you guys make your way down this corridor ever slowly, you hear humming. Someone's humming, a female voice, seeming to hum a tune as you guys near the doorway. And upon peeking through this door, which is it's the opening of these two doors, it's about a 2.5, 3 foot gap, so you could easily walk through. You can see within this room there is a single cloaked figure who's looking through stuff on a table, kind of sliding stuff around, muttering things every so often, humming some tune under her breath as she's sliding things around, her large brown wings shifting ever so slightly with some of the words she's saying. She's speaking in a language that not most of you probably don't. I don't think any of you speak Aarakocran.
One person who does.
Yeah, he's not here. The guy who's not here is the one who is saving me from having to make dialogue. And as she's doesn't seem to be she didn't have noticed any of you have come down here. She is just in her own space doing her thing. What would you like to do?
Do we just walk in there and say hello?
Trinket looks at you and kind of shakes her head and says, I don't think that would go well.
Well, my option wouldn't go well either.
She just looks at you and then looks to the cannon you have and says, I don't think that's a good idea either. I think there's a way we can approach, but I'm not sure how.
What if we just knock?
We could.
We got Magnus with us. I mean,
Guess we have the safety of the door if something does go wrong.
Ooh, I'm gonna cast Detect Magic.
You cast Detect Magic. What is the range on that again?
30 feet.
Okay, she's just about 30 feet from you. She is covered in magical items. Looking at it, she has various forms of protection around her. You notice on the table as well, there's a rod that's sitting on the table that is emanating a magical essence. Looks to be divination magic is kind of the magic coming from it. Her armor looks, or not armor, the cloak she is wearing looks to be a sort of enchantment based on what you can tell. She has another thing of protection that looks to be this mantle that kind of wraps around her neck, that kind of hangs down over her shoulders, over her cloak. It seems to have some sort of protection on it. And there's something that you can't see underneath the cloak that is radiating a enchanted magical glow to it. And she's, as well as that as well, you can also notice on the to the right, hidden out of sight, or hidden enough you can see around a corner a little bit. You can see that same hammer you'd seen before. It is also emanating a glow, but the figure that it belongs to is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, we don't want to fight them. They got the drip. We can't do this.
Take out the trip. A line I never
Not-
expected to hear in D&D.
We should knock nicely.
That one that was with them earlier, their weapons here, but they're not anywhere to be seen.
Trinket turns and just says, "So the other cloaked figure is missing?"
Their weapon is down here, but I couldn't see them.
I wonder where he is. She kind of looks behind you guys nervously and looks back into the room. How I don't know how we should go about this.
Well, we're just gonna have to knock nicely.
Okay. I'm gonna knock nicely.
You knock on the door.
I want to roll charisma check to knock nicely.
You don't need to roll for knocking nicely.
Aw.
You
Charisma
knock
save.
though. You knock, and it's kind of a softer knock. And how long does detect magic last, Jared?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. As she knocks, the figure kind of stands up straight a little bit, and you also notice the hammer that was on the side seems to just disappear, and you don't know where it went. It just vanished. You don't sense its magical trace anywhere in your line of sight.
All right, the hammer disappeared.
And she slowly glances back towards you, her golden beak peeking out from her hood as she looks back in all of your directions, and with these bright purple eyes just stares at you. Says, "Didn't expect guest." She just stands there quietly, kind of waits for a response.
Hi. We were just sent from the next town over to, well, I guess, investigate this place. Ghost town, mass disappearance, fun stuff. We found some skeletons and stuff upstairs. We really didn't think anyone else was alive here, so I'm Journey. These are my matrix. We actually have Eric Kokra upstairs, passed out drunk. Probably best that you don't meet him. That's our deal. So, who are you?
She gives a slight smile. She grabs the rod off the table and turns in your direction, kind of holding up the hand to kind of rest her beak on the top of her fist as she's holding this rod, her other hand remaining within her cloak. She just says, "I recognize all of you. I saw you all in Grandhelm, was it? Killing
They were.
those pesky traffickers?"
Yep, that was our handiwork. Some of our handiworks, anyway.
Yes, I do remember all of you. What an interesting group you had. Counting less, though. But I did also make a deal with the other half of your little friend group a few days back.
Fun. Haven't heard from them in a while. Just kind of got up and disappeared one day. So, well, it's good to know they're still alive. I guess I'd say that it's good to know they're still alive. I really had an emotional connection with them before they just up and left one day. But Yeah.
Yes, they're all fine. The wolf one got a little battered, but the rest of them are fine.
You hear salvaging magical items?
I'm looking for something. A relic of sorts.
Oh, relics. Yeah. We were told to be on the lookout for those.
Yes, well, I have a specific one in mind that I need. But I haven't gone beyond this point. She gestures to the door behind her. That seems to be closed. And she says, I haven't. Well, we haven't gotten through the first door. It's not that we didn't have the ability to, it's that I'd rather see what's in this room and make sure I know what is to come. If you
I
understand.
respect that caution.
Though your little group is a variable I never calculated to appear.
Yeah, we tend to do that.
So it would seem. I assume you killed the skeleton, the little spirit wandering around upstairs.
Yep.
She slowly turns back to the table. It's good, and they won't be an issue for me later.
Glad to be of service. Well, we're here looking for relics, and I figure, many hands make light work. What if we work together to find whatever you're here looking for, and, we can bring back some relics to sell to our employer.
I'm intrigued. Just a little, but. Well, I have to talk with my friend to see if he approves. And she turns her head in the direction opposite of where the hammer was, and the other cloaked figure steps out. And Jared, you see on him as well, this figure, head to toe, also he is covered in magical items. It looks he has some sort of protection. It looks like a ring on his hand. He's wearing a sort of helmet or helm that seems to be emanating a sort of conjuration magic to it.
Point me in a direction and I'll kill.
And
No.
his cloak seems to be imbued with a sort of transmutation. And he stands there with the axe, or the hammer that you had seen before, draped over one shoulder. Kind of glances at all of you. Roll a perception check, actually, everyone.
Okay.
Why he's doing this.
19.
13. Dirty.
12.
You say 12?
Yeah.
And Draka, you're the only one who can really make out his face. It's not normal. The rest of you can see his bright yellow eyes. They don't seem natural. They seem almost, in a sense, arcane in nature, but you're not sure, or like an illusion of some sort. And Draka, you could make out this individual looks to be Lupin. However, the front half of the face, or the front part of the face, where like the eyes, the mouth, and all that is, all the way up to about a few inches from where his ears extrude from the top of his head, there is no flesh. There's only a skull that you can see. And as he stares at you, all kind of opens his mouth ever slightly, you can see within a blackened, pointed tongue that kind of whips out for only a second before he kind of flips his hammer off his shoulder and lets it land on the ground. The actual hammer part of it down, so the stick is sticking straight up in the air and it's balanced. And he just says, I don't like them. kind of growls ever so slightly. The other one
And I
says,
thought we'd be so much more likable by not dragging Balrog around with us.
the Eric Okra turns to him and says, "Don't be so hasty, my friend. They could be useful to us." She glances back to you and says, "Isn't that right?"
That depends on what you mean by useful.
All I need is someone to get me a relic. It's somewhere in here, on this underground place. And as fun as it would be to do it myself, I see an opportunity. Have you do it.
Journey, are either of them trustworthy?
You can roll an insight check.
Yeah, alright.
That's all. I'll roll one as well. I got 21.
Still trying to look at my. Why is it so? There we go. Fuck.
Vibe check time.
She seems pretty sincere, not sincere, but she seems to be telling you the truth on her intentions.
21.
She
Oh,
definitely
same as Journey.
she definitely seems to believe that you can be useful to her. And she definitely seems to believe that it would be a lot more entertaining to have you guys go in instead of her. You also get a sense that she definitely feels that if something were to go down, she has nothing to fear.
None of that bodes well for, is this creature trustworthy?
And because you missed it, everyone can tell she's an Aarakocra. The other one, none of you can really identify him except for Andraka, who is able to identify him as a Lupin of some sort. And she, without turning back, or she turns back to the table as she begins to mess with the stuff that's on the table again. She has her back to all of you, and she seems very confident in this ability of being able to put her back to you and not fear any kind of danger that may come her way. Which I am assuming bothers you.
There's like only one door that she pointed to, right?
Yeah, it's the door on the opposite end of the room.
I'm just gonna walk over to the door.
Okay, you walk through the room. The other hooded figure growling, it intensifies as you enter the room, but he doesn't make a move towards you. Just kind of stands there and watches you closely. She seems to be tracking you, even though she's not paying you much attention. She seems to know exactly where you are in the room as you go to the door.
Oh, I'm gonna turn around and be like, I'm just gonna. What relic are you looking for?
She smiles at you and she says, straight to the point. I like you. I'm looking for. It's a glass rod. Wouldn't recommend trying to use it in any kind of way. It will singe you if you were to use it. It may kill everything around you, but I don't think you would be too happy with the results of what it would do to you. And looking over your current condition of strength, I don't think you would survive. She kind of gives you like a little wink.
Okay, you could have just stopped at, it was a glass rod. And I'm just gonna walk through the door.
So it is closed. It is locked.
I said what I said.
So Drago just runs into this door.
I mean, maybe we should have him make a strength check to see if he goes through the door.
It's going to be a hell of a DC.
I'll do it.
Exactly.
Okay, roll the DC. Roll it to see if you get the DC.
14.
The door doesn't move. It's like watching a GTA character walk into a wall. You just kind of walk in there.
Okay. Have we checked to see if the door is actually locked?
The door's locked. You can tell that.
You know,
But is it
by looking
really-
at my... Oh, god damn it. Damn it. I just checked my inventory again. The blade is still wrong.
Wrong blade.
Did I click the wrong one?
It's a great axe.
I thought I clicked the great axe.
It's just a good
it's
axe.
a great axe. That's the problem.
What did you want?
Dude, I was looking. I fucking talk about battle axes. I remember telling you actually. It's like, yeah, no, I'd rather battle axes because they're versatile, which is slightly better than great axes because they're only two-handed. It's like, fuck. Now I'm cursed with a great axe.
The sword hears you say this, and it transforms into a battle axe.
It's like now I'm stuck with this great axe. It's like, fuck it, fine.
We can talk about something eventually, but
Dude, we are gonna talk about something, but it's not gonna be that.
you said great axe last time, and it has a changing property, and that's why I was doing the great axe thing. We can work with that later. But what did the rest of you do as Andraka just kind of struggles with this door?
I'll watch.
Just watch from the other side of the room.
Yeah. Because it splinters everywhere. Or if he splinters everywhere.
I'm like, because I don't trust motherfuckers who simply want you to pick up an artifact. That shit ain't trustworthy. That's not. You don't trust that shit. You don't trust motherfuckers who just, oh, you're just gonna go and simply pick up an artifact. Gee, that's some sketchy ass shit. Nah, I ain't trusting that shit.
Simply pick up the artifact.
Because it's not gonna be a simply picking up that artifact. No, it's not. It's gonna be sketchy as fuck. I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's gonna be sketchy as fuck. Nah, I don't trust that shit.
Can I see if there's a way to unlock the door?
Yes, there's a lock on the door. Similar to that of the
Interesting.
padlock that was or the hatch that was upstairs.
Well, I'm gonna get my thieves' tools and try to open it.
All right. Are you proficient in thieves' tools?
Yes.
All right. Then roll a dex check with your proficiency added to it.
10.
You fiddle with the lock, and it doesn't budge.
Just shoot it with
All right,
lightning.
I'm gonna
You all know you can do it.
We all know
I
that's what you're going to do.
I wanted to try it the civil way first.
A lock, it doesn't have rights.
All right.
Now I'm going to shoot it.
Roll an attack on the door.
Let's all step back out of the room.
An 8.
You hit the door. It's not moving. You hit the door. Roll damage.
8.
All right, you hit the door. It dents a little bit.
I'm going to shoot it again.
As you fire the shot and you do this, you all see the other hooded figure, the one that his face is hidden, quickly grab the hammer and turn in the direction of the firing, just kind of watching him very closely as this is happening. His back also to all of you now. The other one, who's still standing at the table, smiles a little bit. She kind of reaches into a pocket and begins fiddling around. You're firing another shot?
Actually, I'm gonna turn around and look at the guy with the hammer. I'm gonna do the little thumb pointing at the door, saying, "You give it a try."
Doesn't move, and she, after a few seconds of digging around her pocket, pulls out what looks to be a key of some sort.
You had a key the whole time.
She holds it up, tosses it towards you, says, "Try that."
Do I just catch it?
Yeah, you just catch it.
Okay. I'm
Now it's
gonna
time to shoot the key.
Shoots the key. God damn it!
I'll try the key.
Alright, you put the key in the lock, and as you are pressing it into this lock, the key almost seems to like change shape a little bit. As it fits itself into the lock, you turn it in the lock, the lock clicks, the door unlocks, and then the key just disintegrates.
I think you broke her key.
The door is opened.
Disintegrates into like dust,
Yeah, it just turns to dust.
and I catch it.
Roll a sleight of hand check.
16.
You get a little bit of dust, key dust,
You hand it
Putting
back
it
to
in
her.
my pocket.
Oh.
No, I'm putting it in my pocket.
pocket dust.
Pocket sand.
Yes, who opens the door, and she kind of lets out another small laugh and turns to the rest of you and says, "Aren't you gonna join your friend?"
No.
She frowns a little bit. Kind of holds her arm across her chest again, bringing her fist up to rest her beak on it. She says, "Why is that?"
You ask for the retrieval of an artifact. You simply state only that. And the retrieval of an object when you cannot do it yourself always means it is a dangerous path. Usually one where the messenger is sent to die to clear it.
Oh, no. You misunderstand me. I said I can do it, but I think it would be more fun to have you.
That is worse.
I'm just gonna continue into the room while they're arguing.
She just lets out a sigh. Turns away from you again. She takes the rod that's in her hand, clicks something on it, and slams it to the table. Just leaves it there. You guys, for a moment, when she does this, it begins to emanate this light off of it. And it gives off a strange sensation as it is glowing in this room. You can't tell what is going on specifically with this rod. She looks up at Andraka, who's slowly slipping into the hallway, and says, "I suggest catching up with your friend. You'll miss all the fun." She continues to go through the things that are on the table, which look to be various papers and other things.
I do not trust the ideals of fun of someone who wishes to stay in a ghost town with skeletons and nightmares.
They weren't mine. They weren't here by my choice. I'm just here for the relic.
Oh, what the heck? We're here for relics. You're here for relics. Journey goes and follows Andraka.
And as your journey is going ahead, Dusk kind of goes, "Yay! Adventure!" It kind of charges after you.
Magnus definitely just child and very probably misses trying to just catch her by the back of the shirt.
Yeah, this is a halfling girl. She's very slippery. She just runs forward, seeming
Yeah,
very pleased with everything.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Tyler. Magnus, he grew up with fucking witches. Of course he's superstitious.
Yeah.
I'm not trusting this shit.
Trinket kind of shrugs and
Don't. Please.
she just turns and looks to the Aarakocra and says, "What do we get out of this?" Since no one else is going to ask. Aarakocra pauses and turns ever so slightly. Says, "Whatever else you find is yours. I just want the rod." And the hooded figure seems to look at her for a moment. You don't really get a emotion from him as he turns and looks at her and shakes his head and picks up his hammer and heads off to the side of the wall that he was on before, kind of disappearing out of sight. Trinket pauses for a second, looks to you, Magnus, and then sighs, and then begins to follow the others.
I don't know how to explain the look that would be on his face.
I feel like it
Because
would be something like disbelief and frustration.
Because I can explain the situation that look would be on as well. It would be the same look on his face that he had when he figured out that, like, after his ship was like sunk, that he was the only one alive. That would just be the same face, because right now, as Magnus stands there, it's just,
I feel like
I'm the
it's
only survivor. Like, that's
disbelief,
just his only
abandonment.
recognition. Like,
I think it'd be
they
disbelief,
are
abandonment,
already
and
dead.
almost disbelief, abandonment, and there's a third emotion that I can't bring up
I
in
feel
my
like
mind.
it's just exhaustion.
Exhaustion would probably, yeah, just like,
Just-
yeah. I think I get I get the idea of the face you're thinking of.
He's just probably just standing there, just like in his head, it's just, they are already dead.
Yeah, and the others enter the corridor. Eric Cochran just kind of sitting there for a moment. She glances back again, sighs a little bit, kind of walks over to the other who had disappeared in the corner and seems to sit down against the wall. Open up a tome, begin to read through it. The others have entered the chamber, though, and you are currently alone.
Mm. Well, this is a fucking problem. Because I am not going to actively go against the character and say, okay, go into the death maze, or but also that means you're splitting the party in a weird way and you're just sitting there.
Well, so the way I'm looking at this, I know Magnus is skeptical. The way I'm looking at this, though, but I feel like he also, based on what you've described to me, feels that he has to protect certain individuals of this party. And I feel like he's probably been through crazier shit than what he's expecting ahead.
Here's what I'll do. Because this also means that the bad decision will only be supported by what you've already given me. I'm gonna roll an intelligence check. So now, if I have to do the bad decision, it's only you to blame because of what you've given me.
Well, depending on what you roll, I can tell you exactly what you would kind of get out of this situation. On what you think you would expect in the future.
I mean, tell the truth, with like a 12, I'm pretty sure the fear would be what controls this instead of the, okay, I need to try to keep them alive.
With the 12, I would say the fear that comes to mind isn't exactly for self, but it would be what you had seen happen to Trinket. And you don't want to see that happen again. Type deal. Because you know that if there's one, there's more.
Someone needs to burn the corpses, and he's just gonna fucking follow.
you follow suit near the end, and as you enter this corridor, questioning your decision, and you look back, the individual whose face never was revealed to you just looks up at you, just watches you as you disappear. And once you are completely out of sight, you turn back to the rest of the party, who's several meters ahead of you, and I think that's what we're going to call it tonight. I think this is a good stopping point as you guys enter this place.
This place.
And with that, I will say, due to everything you guys went through, I will let you guys level up. Considering you went through the night, you woke up the next morning, and after that whole fight, and you are alive, I will award you with a, because I feel like through your journey, and plus the other party also leveled up, I feel like it's only right that you guys as well level up around the same time as they do.
Nice. And now I have Fonts of Inspiration,
Yes.
which means I will gain all of my Bardic Inspiration tokens when I finish a short rest.
Yes.
And 23 points.
So you are all now level 5. I don't think any of you are trying to multi-class, right?
I'm not.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. You're going into what class after this, Jared? Fighter?
Don't know.
Don't know yet? Okay. Depending on what you pick, I kind of want to get into a narrative reason on why you would pick it.
There's already the narrative reason.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I remember that stuff, yes. But on that note, I hope the story's getting better for all of you. I know it was slow with the whole desert trip. It's gonna get better as you don't travel as much. I think the next session coming up, I think will be a lot better narratively. This one was kind of, trying to get through the trip of traveling through the desert, and we will have a couple more like that for you guys. The other party will have them as well, but because they're in Grand Home, they have a little more RP flexibility a little bit, because they can do a little more because they've stayed in one city for long enough. You guys will eventually get to a nice point where you'll have about the same thing.
Well, next session we'll have to outrun an underground minotaur that is also a gunslinger, so that'll be fun.
That is an awesome
It's the
idea.
West.
I'm gonna write that down
Actually-
as a note. No.
If we're talking about time frame of if we're talking about time frame right now, next session that you're in Journey, you're not playing Journey.
It's true.
You will be playing Journey.
Talk about the vampire game.
Oh, that one, yes.
Boy.
Yeah, if we're
Yes.
going by timeline of sessions.
Well, I'm talking about this campaign. I'm ignoring the other
Yeah.
ones with this, but yes. But on that note, let's just do the outro so we can have a conversation after this, like we normally do. So, for anyone who stumbles upon this or is watching now, if you are interested in catching up on any of the previous adventures we had, whether it is the Scale of Fate campaign, the C.O.N, which is our Wild West one, or Meet the Kobolds, and then in the future soon, the Vampire the Masquerade campaign. I don't know if we're naming that anything else just yet.
It's called Sticks and Bones.
Sticks and Bones. The campaign Sticks and
Yeah.
Bones.
That's
You can check out the YouTube, which I think is linked on the Twitch page. It has all of the playlists. I update that every time we post a new video. I will, within a few days of getting the video posted, will update the playlists. If you want to catch us live while we're actually doing these streams, follow the Twitch page, put on those notifications to get notifications when we are doing the streams. Join the Discord for the same updates. It's probably easier, and you get the chance of possibly communicating with us. Possibly. depends on our availability and our willingness to talk to people. I'm willing to talk to people. I don't know about anyone else.
If I see a
And
message, I'll say something stupid.
probably, I could see that. Or you can follow the Twitter, which we mainly post the tweets of whenever the session is starting. And there is also a post on there for any homebrew items that anyone has that they wish to see in any of the campaigns. I will do my best to incorporate them at some point in the campaigns. We haven't got anything yet. I do have a few homebrew items I have found on Instagram and Twitter and things of that nature. Fortunately, I've lost all the names that they were associated with, so if the owners do find them, I apologize. Let me know, and I will figure something out to let the world know. I don't know. But on that note, we hope to see you guys in the next session. Peace.